The thing is when I turn certain ones on, you can hear the static.
Okay, there we go. We got you.
You hear that noise?
Testing 1, 2.
Okay, I'll have to make sure I kind of pull back a bit.
No, I'm talking about that. You hear that?
Yes.
What is that? I don't know. After someone came and looked at this stuff.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and start. Good evening, everyone. The time is now 6:01 p.m. and the Spring Lake Board of Commissioners work session is now called to order. I do ask that you please silence your cell phones and keep all sidebar conversation to the barest of minimums out of respect of the business of the town. We will begin with our invocation and pledge of allegiance. Bishop Marshall, please approach the podium and lead us in our pledge of allegiance and invocation. Please stand and join us if you choose to.
Father God, we come to you right now just as humble as we are. We come to tell you thank you, Father God, for this day, Father God. And we ain't doing nothing about it, but you got all things in control, Father God. We thank you for our children being in school, Father God, and having a safe day, Father God. But Father, we ask you to come and stop right here, Father God. Touch us right here, right where we at, Father God. You see and you know all things, Father God, and we need you more than anything else, Father God. Any decision makings, Father God, we need you, Father God. Anything that we do, Father God, we need you, Father God, and we are asking you today, Father God, to look upon us, Father God. Help us to make the right decisions, Father God, that will give you glory, Father God, that will cover the people, Father God. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Bishop Marshall. We will now move on to additions and deletions. I would like to add our very excited to put this edition on our agenda. We are getting our 2022 audit presentation tonight. That is a huge deal. So I'm gratefully adding it to our presentations for tonight. It'll be Cherry Becker, the FY22 audit. Are there any other additions or deletions? Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to add the water operation update presentation.
All right, and so we will do that one first because I'm assuming that that's going to be a little shorter than our audit presentation. So we'll begin with our A-team update. Thank you. Okay, so we are going to have our sanitation update as 7A. And water ops? Is that? Mm-hmm. 7A will be the water op presentation, and 7B will be the Cherry Becker 22 audit. Are there any other additions and deletions or deletions? Seeing none, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda. Commissioner Thompson? So moved. Commissioner Cooper? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to the approval of our consent items, which are the draft minutes of the August 10th, 2026 special meeting and the draft minutes of the August 10th, 2026 regular meeting. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve minutes for August the 10th, 2026 special meeting, as well as August the 10th regular meeting.
Awesome. Is there a second? Commissioner Burgess? Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Any I think that was unanimous. I'll keep rolling. We were moving on to our public comments. Please remember that the commissioners and myself will not respond directly during public comments unless there is a special case in which we deem necessary. Your time will be on the screen. You are limited to 3 minutes, and I will give you a gentle nudge if you don't respond to the really obnoxious buzzer that goes off. And that is it. Oh, and please keep your comments based on the business of the town. And we will begin with Ms. Nubia Mitchell. Topic of concern is concerns.
Good evening, Mayor.
Good evening,
Board, and residents, all in attendance. So I just want to start by addressing some of the comments that were made at one of the previous meetings that I was at by Mayor Pro Tem Sullivan. So she states that in that meeting that she has been the homeowners association president of the Woodland West subdivision. Well, after research with many of the residents that are original to the environment, that is just not a true statement. That environment has never had and still does not have an HOA. She also stated that she thanked the police for coming to deal with a situation that she could not handle on her own. Well, the situation that involved me specifically, Ms. Sutherland actually drove in and blocked me in. So I was the one that was intimidated, or the attempt of intimidation was made with her and her son. She also speaks on the money she spends to beautify the front end of Woodland West. Amazing that she needs pats on the back for things you do in the community. If you don't want to do them, just don't do them. But you apparently do need to be recognized for everything that you do. It's very unfortunate. To me, you are not what I consider a woman of Christ, a woman of God, however you want to call yourself. You are quite the opposite, in my opinion.
Now, she is getting personal.
Yeah, I am. This is
But
personal.
this is not the.
This is the business, because you made it the business of the town.
But we want to make sure we refrain from personal attacks
Well,
and keep it on the business of the town.
This is all about a personal attack. And that's why I'm here, because I was personally attacked. So, you know, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. You can't tell me what I can't do when I've been victimized right here. So if you don't want to deal with it, then you shouldn't have stirred the pot. But now you got it to deal with. I'm here for it. Thank you.
Was it a threat?
No, it was wrong.
Next is Ms. Mary Jackson. Topic of concern, commissioner responsibilities.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners, Town Manager, and citizens. I'm standing before you tonight to express a concern regarding the performance and effectiveness of this board. As an elected official, commissioners have a responsibility to understand the duties of the office they were elected to serve. That responsibility includes reviewing and understanding the town charter, local ordinance, board policy, rules of procedure, ethic requirements, and the legal limitation of the commission form of government. Unfortunately, many of the discussions and actions observed during this board meeting suggest that some commissioners may not have a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities. Questions are often raised regarding matters that are already addressed in existing policies. Time is spent debating issues that could have been resolved through a review of adopted procedures. At times, there appears to be a confusion between the role of governance and the role of administration. Commissioners are not elected to manage employees, direct daily operations, or create policies on the fly. They are elected to establish goals, adopt budget, create policies, and provide oversight while allowing professional staff to carry out the day-to-day management of the town. An employee who fails to learn the requirements of their position would likely receive additional training, coaching, and if necessary, corrective action. While elected officials are accountable to voters rather than supervisors, the principle remains the same. Those entrusted with public responsibilities should make every effort to understand the job. I respectfully encourage each commissioner to commit to a comprehensive review of the town charter, board policies, ethics guidelines, the rules of procedure. I also encourage participants to participation in training opportunities offered by organizations such as the North Carolina League of Municipal and the UNC School of Government. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meeks. We will now move on to our first presentation of the evening, and this will be our AT. John?
I don't like being first, but how are you, Madam Mayor and Council? Hope y'all having a good evening.
Thank you.
Just give you a quick update. Every Monday, Town Manager, Ms. Jackson, we've been having meetings and ongoing stuff about what's going on in utilities, checking out water laws, keeping them updated, what we're doing. I did not get this to y'all, but I can get it to y'all, but I have a short list of stuff that we've done since we've been here. If y'all give me 1 second to read it to you and wish me luck on that. We have done 3 6-inch water main breaks, 2 hydrants we have reset, 4 valve replacements, a 3-inch leak, 4 2-inch leaks on mains, 3 service taps, new taps that we put in, 2 sewer main blockages that we've jetted out, 7 sewer service repairs, 1 yard hydrant replaced, 1 manhole repair. This should get a roar from some people in the crowd. We did a sinkhole on Regina Drive so we could get ready for paving over there, so very happy about that one. And 28 service line repairs. We've done that in the first 60 days we've been here. So it may not seem like a lot, but we've been pretty busy. Like I said, doing other things as well, getting some stuff ready for the street department. And again, every Monday, I update Commissioner Jackson and Dennis on what's going on with the water system and where we are as far as repairs. Last Tuesday, we had an ongoing list of leaks that we knew about. We actually caught up with that list. I would like to say we're still caught up, but we're not. We have 2 more leaks now that we're going to address this week. So, but that's pretty much just a quick update. That was a total of 56 repairs, by the way. Just a quick update of what we've done. And as always, if y'all have any questions or anything, please let me know and I'll do my best to answer them.
Did you say 56 repairs in 60 days?
Yes, ma'am.
Every day since you've been here, there's been a repair done.
Yes, ma'am.
And I want to stress that because I know our residents are saying, what is happening with our water? Why is it constantly being shut off? Why is my pressure low? We are chasing leaks daily. We are trying our best to put Band-Aids on a system that needs amputation. And we are doing our absolute best. We are pursuing funding to try and address these major repairs. So please bear with us. As you can hear directly, we are working daily to fix these repairs. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. One of the things we are doing now, and we actually did one on Virginia Drive as well, part of why it's such a big deal when we do a repair is valves aren't working, valves aren't holding. So we're actually going into mode now. I think we have about 10 valves that we've identified that do not work, that we are replacing. So that's our next thing, keeping up with the leaks and stuff that it is our day-to-day, but we're also addressing some of the valves that aren't working as well. And also, fire chief has got a list of hydrants for us to work on. So, yes, ma'am.
And I know, I think I still have it, a piece of pipe. I just need you guys to see what is in our ground. It is really bad, and when we fix something, oftentimes it damages something else because it's not used to that much pressure or that much water flowing through. So it'll cause something else to break, which is why we're chasing leak after leak after leak. But I promise, we'll get to a place to where we can do a big chunk at a time. We're working on it. Are there any questions or comments from the board? I want to applaud Commissioner Jackson and Mr. Manager for what you guys have been doing. I know you meet regularly, and I know this is
We have
a
been meeting
huge
every month.
deal.
Every Monday.
So just know, are these meetings, these are public meetings. So if the citizens want to sit in so that you can hear how in depth these meetings go, and maybe it'll help you, relieve a little tension when you see how big these problems are and how smart these engineers have to be to work on these. They're not simple problems. So if we could just make sure they're announced so you guys can come and actually see what we're working with.
And not to be funny, but our Monday meeting today lasted about 2 hours and 15 minutes. So we went through a lot today.
Commissioner Cooper?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, is there any way the meetings can be televised or recorded, because there are always so many questions, so many concerns, and if they see the work being done, then that'll lower the number of questions and concerns, I just feel like.
Yes,
So that
ma'am.
they see the work's being done.
I can make note of that. They're very informal, but I can definitely try to see if there's some type of opportunity to do some video inside of a meeting, but they're working meetings, but yeah, I have no problem with being transparent with the work that we're doing.
Absolutely not.
Can you touch on, if you could, just a little bit about the meter replacement initiative that I started with you?
Yes, sir. This goes right back to water loss. The town is at about a 50% water loss, which means you're buying, just to make it simple, you buy 100 gallons, you bill 50. Some of that is due to the leaks that we are repairing. A lot of that is due to the metering. We are in process now. I actually spoke with some folks after I left our meeting this morning, trying to set up a meeting next week with the manufacturer that produces the meters to you guys. Get some new numbers as far as what it would take to finish out the project where we put meters in all the houses. I think we're about, and don't hold me to these numbers, I think we have about 1,500 new meters in. My understanding there's about 4,500 connections to the town, so we're about 3,000 away. So we're looking at alternatives for meters. If there's some cheaper, that'll still work with the fixed base unit, the census unit, where we bill out of. But we're definitely looking at ways to get the meters in here quicker. I think originally when we first talked about this, and Commissioner Jackson, Dennis, tell me if I'm wrong, we were looking at about an 8-year turnaround on getting the meters in. After our meeting today and some of the numbers that I turned around, we could be down to like a 3 or 4 year if we do some of the replacement in-house and utilize the people that are here, so we don't have to put that funding back for a company to come in and do that for us.
So this is different from the sensor program we were doing. I know we had budgeted was back in '24 for us to start putting these meters back in. So this is
This
different
is
from
part of the
that?
strategic plan as well.
Okay.
And what we're working towards is actually a ride-by system where we're not going
Right.
out and they have to manually collect those numbers. You actually put a unit in a vehicle, ride the town, everything comes to that, and then they can take it to Miss Renee, and the billing is a much easier process as well for her.
So this is the same project we had
Yes,
already
ma'am.
started?
Yes, ma'am. We're just trying to figure out ways to finish it in a quicker time.
Awesome. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. John, I want to thank you and your team for the hard work. I tease him all the time, say,
Yes, ma'am.
have you been in the hole? I can tell he's been in the hole. He's working real hard.
I put on a clean shirt just for y'all.
Thank you. But you had elaborated and you stated the last time you gave a presentation how much money you had saved the town.
Yes,
Do you have
ma'am.
those totals?
I don't have them in front
And you had
of me,
additional
but we
savings?
were about, I think we had, if my numbers are correct, it was about 42% savings from the repairs we had made to the contractor coming in. And again, contractor coming in and making that repair is exactly what you hired them for. But what you hired us for was to come in and make that repair and teach your people. And that's what we've been doing. And I'm whether I should or shouldn't do this, I hope y'all will allow me. The utilities department has been a little low. Some guys have had a few injuries. You have one employee, Travis Hawkins. He's on light duty. He's having some issues with his arm. And the last few weeks, that man has absolutely worked his hiney off. Not to put it a different way, but he has been with us on every repair, doing everything he could possibly do. I've actually talked to him a couple of times and said, slow down, don't hurt yourself anymore. But what he's doing now versus what he was doing when we got here is totally different. And I wish you could see him, and anytime y'all want to come out to where we're doing the job, and I know some of you do as often as you can. We're working in front of your house, you don't have a choice. You know? But they are stepping up. Our street department's getting better. We've done some stuff over there, even though we're down a few people, but yes, ma'am, I think we're making headway. So, and a lot to do, there's still a lot to do.
A whole lot. He's not working on my house, no preferential treatment is really because
Oh,
the
no.
bill is terrible.
Last time was a main break, so.
Literally right in front of my house.
Well, John, I think you stated last time was about 42,000, and I think
Yes,
when I
ma'am.
talked to you was additional 27, rounding that frame. So the next time you come, you get the total so the citizens can.
Absolutely, yes, ma'am.
Mr. English, and we want to thank you and you all from staying on this to make sure, because the losing of the water, that causes the citizens' water bills to elevate. So we're glad that you're in there and changing those pipes and not it be a Band-Aid.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's why we hired you at the town with taxpayer dollars to come in. So you are doing a wonderful job.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cooper?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. You said that we had 4,500 connections, and so far 1,200 have been.
About 1,500, I
About
believe, is the number,
1,500?
correct?
Oh, okay, so did we budget for 3,000?
No, ma'am, we did not. According to Jimmy, and he's in the back, so he can tell me if I'm wrong, about 634 people.
600?
For this year, we did 400 last
They
year.
split them out.
Now, one thing I did learn today is the transmitters to go on these meters to make them ride by. We have a Connex full loader operations. I was not aware of that till today. We're working with Ms. Renee. We're going to expand the area that they already have meters in, so at least we can do one area that's ride by. There'll still be some manual that we have to do, but we're definitely trying to expand that and get this program finished.
Ms. Regina's not here, is she? Yeah, because I thought we had a neighbor, I'm sorry, Miss Regina, Miss Renee, and she's gonna beat me up for that, I'm sorry. I thought we had a neighborhood that was already fully drive-by.
Yeah.
Did we complete one neighborhood already?
Deerfield was supposed to be done, but talking with them today, it is not completely done. We're actually not going to meet this week, but the first of next week. We're actually going to ride through that subdivision. I'm going to look at the meters in the ground, see what we need to do to finish that project. None of the transceivers, to my knowledge, as of today, have been installed. One of the people we're meeting next week is the people from Ferguson Supply, that supply all the meters and everything. They're going to come in, give us a one-time, this is how you do it, and hopefully when we get the meters back in there, we'll put those transceivers on it, and that will be a finished subdivision, yes, ma'am.
And they'll work with the, what's the sensor, what's the What's the company, did you say?
Ferguson,
No, the other one. For our other meters.
Census.
Census.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh,
Catching me off guard there.
These meters will work together?
Oh, yes, ma'am. You're working on a census base, so yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you so much.
Thank y'all so much.
All right, yay. We are now moving on to, not our better presentation, but one we really want to hear. Cherry Becker, FY '22 audit. Mr. Overton?
Get the other, PowerPoint first.
The financial statements?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm glad to finally present this. This has been a long time coming. Now this slide presentation you've already seen before. We did make a few changes based on some audit adjustments, and I'm not going to go through all of them. I'll go through them quickly. Also tonight, we have Mr. Scott Anderson here from Cherry Becker. He's here to answer any questions and to go over some of the issues that they encountered while they were doing the audit. But I won't go through the financial numbers as quickly as I can.
Jimmy, make sure it's on. Yep. It's right there on the side.
Before we start, I'm sorry, Mr. Overton, can we get some more, I know we're not used to this, but can we please pull some more chairs out? I hate that people have to stand, especially not our park superintendent. Thank you for being here.
Now, each of you have a copy of the audit. At the back of the audit is also Cherry Becker's presentation in the back. Our last audit was completed for fiscal year June 30th, 2020 in March of 21. That's almost 5 years ago. No, that's over 5 years ago. The town's financial records were so bad in 21 that the local government commission said they were unable to be audited, so they waived the audit requirement for 21. Cherry Becker finished the 22 audit this past week on August the 20th. We have awarded a contract to Carl Riggs and Ingram out of Goldsboro for the 23, 4, and 5 audit, and they are ready to begin that as soon as the 22 audit is approved and accepted by the local government commission. Okay. One of the reasons this was held up, the 20 audit had a lot of issues. We had to do a lot of prior period adjustments. If you will look in the 21 audit, which you already have a copy of, there is on page 99 and 100, there is a list of all the prior period adjustments. And you see there were adjustments in just about every fund. Some of them were significant. That list is rather lengthy. There were a lot of errors in that prior audit. Okay? And these are the audits, prior period adjustments in the governmental and business activities, and you see they were significant. Okay. All right, now we'll start with the 20. This presentation has fiscal years 20, 21, 22, and 23. The third column is 22. Column 21 is unaudited. That was prepared by me, but I can't audit my own work. 22 has been audited by Cherry Becker, and 23 has yet to be audited. But we're going to basically concentrate in column 3. In our governmental activities, that is our general fund and all the other funds except our business fund, water, sewer, and sanitation. You see our net position or deficit at the end of 22 was a negative 2.3 million. Of that fund balance of net position, 2 million was the value of our fixed assets. That's the land, buildings, and equipment. You can't spend that, it's not cash. Our restricted fund balance was almost 3 million. That is restricted by state statute, Powell bill, debt service restrictions, and other restricted grants. That was almost 2.9 million. Our unrestricted in 22 was a negative $7 million. So our total net position was 2.3 million negative. All right? In our statement of activities, this is our income statement in the third column. Our general revenues, which is property taxes, sales taxes, were about 7 million. Our expenses were 6.9 million, and our net income before our loss going impaired asset was 926,000. We had to recognize a loss on all the buildings that we purchased for Spring Lake property acquisition because the county had condemned them. We paid 1.7 million for those buildings. They had been depreciated down to 1.5 million. So, because they're condemned, they're basically worthless. So we took a loss of 1.5 million in 22 on those buildings. We'll talk a little more about that later. You'll also see in 21, we recognize a loss of 334,000 due to embezzlement from a prior finance director. You see 23 is much better, but those are unaudited numbers, okay? Our business activities, this includes the water and sewer fund, the sanitation fund, and the stormwater fund. The water and sewer fund was in much better shape. Total net position of 9 million. 5.7 million is your water and sewer lines, your wastewater treatment plant, your other equipment and vehicles. 75,000 is restricted for debt service, and your unrestricted fund balance, or in the business activities was 3.1 million. Okay, for a total debt position of $9 million. So our business activities were in much better shape, but one of the reasons was all the repairs that were not made that we didn't spend the money on. Okay. Net income in the business activities, our charges for services were about 4.7 million. That's water, sewer, garbage, and stormwater. Our expenses were 3.7 million, and our net income loss was 938,000 for 22. So the water fund was making money in 22, but one of the reasons is there were a lot of repairs that still needed to be made. Okay. General fund. This is a general fund by itself without all of the other funds. Total fund balance in the general fund was 2.2 million. And you see that fund balance is broken down in column 3. Prepaid expenses, 4,600. Reserved by state statute, that's your accounts receivable. You cannot spend the money till you collect it. That's $1,600,000. We had 800,000 set aside for street repairs in the power bill fund, and we had 377 reserved for debt service for our USDA loan payments, and also the debt payment on the fire station. Our unassigned fund balance in the general fund was a negative 642,000, which you see that is a lot better than what it was in 21 when it was 1.5 million. So we did see some improvement in the general fund in 22. Total fund balance of 2.2 million. All right, this is a revenue and expenses in the general fund. Total revenue 7.6 million. Total expenses 5.7 million. Transferred out to other funds 366,000 for a net income of 1.6 million in the general fund in 22. The general fund is based on what's called modified accrual, or similar to a cash basis. On a cash basis, we made 1.6 million. But when you take that 1.5 million loss on the impairment of the asset, it pretty much wiped the whole thing out. Okay. Property taxes. Cumberland County collects our taxes for us. Our assessed value was $464 million. Our tax rate at the time was 70 cents for a total levy of $3.2 million. And we collected 98.8%. The county does an excellent job of collecting taxes for us. So we collected all but 39,000 for the current year. You're allowed 10 years to collect your property taxes. So for all 10 years, the receivable was 128,000, but mostly you will only collect the most recent 3 years. So we have an allowance for bad debts equal to the oldest 7 years. So a net receivable of about 60,000. At 70 cents, 1 penny of property tax is equivalent to $46,000 in revenue. Water and sewer fund. Our operating revenues were 3.7 million, our expenses 3.1 million. Our operating income and loss, that's just charges for services minus our direct expenses, was 594,000. Miscellaneous revenues, 37,000. Most of that is interest income, and we had 50,000 of interest expense, and a transfer out of 38,000 for a net income of 543 in the water fund. So the water fund also had a profit in 22. Both general fund and water fund improved dramatically from 21 to 22. The sanitation fund, our charges for garbage services, 700,000, our expenses 564, and a net income of 127. Our stormwater fund, 289,000 of revenue. We didn't spend very much that year. We have built up a 1.4 million in that fund in stormwater repairs, which I'm going to ask you later tonight to spend some of that. Okay? So we had a net income of 266,000 in the stormwater fund. Power bill, beginning balance in 22 was 500,000. We received 300,000 from the DOT. We only spent 2,400 that year, so we ended up with an ending power bill balance of 800,000. Right now, we have at the end of 24, 1.6 million. We did spend a lot of money on street repairs this past year, and we have budgeted to spend another 400,000 this coming year. But that power bill had built up to almost 1.5 million because we did not make a lot of repairs in the last 3 or 4 years until last year. Okay. All right. Now this doesn't apply to 22. In 22 and 23, we received 1.9 million each year from the American Rescue Plan grant from the U.S. Treasury. That's 3.8 million. All of that was spent in fiscal year 23 for salaries and benefits. So that has all been spent. But that money that we saved there was used to spend on other things like repairs. One of the big liabilities that we have are the pension liabilities. The North Carolina Local Government Employees Retirement System is really the liability of the state. Our only liability is to pay the monthly contribution, which is about 15% of our employees' salaries. However, generally accepted accounting principles require us to record our share of the state's liability, even though we'll never have to pay it. Our share of the state's pension liability is $976,000. The law enforcement officer separation allowance is a retirement plan to law enforcement officers from the time they retire till their 62nd birthday. We do have to pay that. Our projected liability there is $470,000. And OPEB, that's other post-employment benefits or retiree health insurance. The actuarial study says our liability for that is 5.4 million. So our total pension and retiree health insurance liability is 6.8 million. The law enforcement officers isn't that much each year. We pay it as you go. The retiree health insurance is also pay as you go. We don't have any money set aside for those liabilities. Like I said, we don't have to pay the state pension other than our monthly contribution. Okay, this is a list of all of our debt. At 22, our total outstanding debt was $10,267,000. And now, let's talk a little bit about Spring Lake property acquisitions. You've all seen this before. I'm not going to bore you with the details. This is just a history. We bought 160 acres of land back in 2019 and 20. We defaulted on the loan. Last year, we worked out a deal with Truist Bank where we paid off that loan of $3.5 million for only $450,000. Truist Bank then forgave the debt of $2.9 million. That happened in August of 25. So you won't see that gain on the forgiveness of debt until the 2026 audit. But that is a big gain by writing. The reason they were able to do that is they didn't want the land. Okay? They took whatever cash we could give them. Okay? All right. Now, Spring Lake property acquisition owes the town, as of right now, $784,000. That's the 2 tracts of land that the town paid for, plus the $450,000 payoff to Truist Bank to buy the note. We paid 6 years of back property taxes and solid waste fees of $49,000 for a total of $836,000. We did sell 1 tract of land to a developer for $75,000. We've incurred $13,000 of legal fees, and we just got the bill for this year's property taxes and solid waste fees yesterday, totaling $8,500. So we'll probably be writing that check next week. So total balance due, $784,000 that the Spring Lake property acquisition owes back to the town. This was the original loan, $3.5 million. The accrued interest, $256,000. Total of $3.7 million. So far, we paid $765,000 to the bank, leaving a balance that they forgave of $2.9 million. Now that will show up again in fiscal year 26. Okay. Before we defaulted on that loan, the town did pay the interest for about 1.5 years. The interest on that loan for 1.5 years was $236,000. So technically, if you add the $784,000 plus the $236,000 we paid in interest, we've got about $1,025,000 total that we have spent on all of this land. Okay? And you've seen these pictures enough times. That's why it's condemned. Okay? All right. Get to the end. Here's the total cost of the buildings for $1.7 million minus depreciation of $157,000 as of June 22. The book value of the building was $1,569,000. That is what we wrote off as a loss in 22 because the buildings were condemned. And that is one of the reasons that your net position was negative $7 million in the governmental activities. You saw all that trash. Thanks to Mr. Lackman, Ms. Thompson, a lot of volunteers that went out there, and our town employees that worked on Saturday. They got rid of 100,000 pounds of trash off of that land. So it looks way better now than it does in those pictures that I just showed you. We've hired the Hutchins Law Firm to foreclose on it. The foreclosure sale is scheduled for next month. At that time, if nobody outbids us at the sale, then the highest bidder will acquire the land. I think they'll have 30 days or so to close on that. But we take whatever money we do get from selling the land, we will use that to pay back the $784,000 due to the general fund. Anything above and beyond that, I think we should set aside for future capital outlay. All of that property was revalued last year, just like everything else in the county. The value went up almost 60%. The total assessed property value for all tracts is $3.3 million. Okay? I can't say what the fair market value is, that's the tax value. After the foreclosure sale, we can declare this 160 acres that are left as surplus and hopefully sell it to the highest bidder. We need to, at tonight's closed session, decide what we want to start the opening bid at. Okay? And that is all that I have. Now, Mr. Anderson will come up here and talk to you a little bit about the audit process and what they encountered. And he will also talk to you about these material weaknesses from 2022. And I'll turn it over to you.
evening.
Thank you for having me here today. This presentation that I'm delivering is the conclusion of the audit. It's the last step for us. This presentation is required by the Local Government Commission, not just for you in particular. Every audit that we do for local government in North Carolina, we make this type of presentation. Auditing standards also require that we communicate certain things to you as a result of our audit. And so I provided a slide deck, a presentation, and it's designed to walk through everything that our professional standards require to communicate to you in your role as the governing board for this town. Now, if you do the slide math, there's about 27 slides in there. If I was teaching a class, as I sometimes do, 27 slides would take about an hour to get through. In my experience, no one wants to hear the auditor talk for an hour, and so I do plan to hit just the highlights. You have a copy of that slide deck to peruse at your leisure. I'll be happy to slow down and stop and answer questions as I go, but if I skip slides, it's because it's kind of a standard slide that maybe doesn't say, it's not what I would call a highlight for your audit. Now, as Jimmy mentioned, we did complete the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022. We did not perform an audit for any fiscal years prior to that. Neither have we performed an audit for any subsequent periods. So everything I talked about today is going to be focused on that particular audit. And this first slide is just the agenda of the topics that we covered as part of this presentation. Your client service team was led by Leanne Waters. She is the engagement director. She is the person with end responsibility. She signed your audit opinion, and her senior manager, Linda Suggs. Those are the two who did all of the heavy lifting to complete this audit. I'm Scott Anderson. I'm an engagement partner with Sherry Becker, and I served as the second reviewer. What that means is I reviewed your financial statements to ensure, as kind of an independent look at your financial statements, to make sure everything was being addressed and that the conclusions reached by the team were sound. So we did complete the audit, and we issued our report dated August 20th, 2026. The purpose of an audit is to express an opinion as to whether or not your financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Local governments have several opinion units because of the fund accounting and fund reporting. So we express an unmodified opinion on the governmental activities, the general fund, the Spring Lake Property Acquisitions Fund, the American Rescue Plan Fund, the Sanitation Fund, Stormwater Fund, and the aggregate remaining other fund information. An unmodified opinion is the highest level of assurance that we can provide. It means that we believe that a third-party user of your financial statements can rely on the information in those statements. We did not express an opinion on the water and sewer fund. In fact, our opinion reflects the disclaimer of opinion. What that means was when we were auditing the transactions in that fund, there were certain items that had no documentary support. It doesn't mean that those transactions didn't happen, that they didn't exist. It just means that there was no audit evidence for us to observe and to rely on. And so we expressed the disclaimer of opinion. Now, as a result of expressing the disclaimer of opinion on the water and sewer fund, we also expressed a disclaimer of opinion on the business type activities because the water and sewer fund rolls up into that reporting. We've also audited the town's compliance with the compliance requirements described in uniform guidance. That's the single audit. Anytime there's spending of federal dollars and state dollars, it triggers what we call this single audit. You have one program, FEMA, that was applicable for 2022, which we audited, and we expressed a qualified opinion on compliance with that program. A qualified opinion means that we found the town was in compliance with everything except for one item. So there's one compliance requirement where we were not able to satisfy ourselves with regard to audit evidence. We'll get to that in just a second. When we perform an audit in accordance with government auditing standards, we are required to look at internal controls. We are required to gain an understanding of the controls that are in place and the design of internal controls, but we are not required and we do not express an opinion on internal controls. And that's not unique to you, that's just with any entity that we audit, we do not express an opinion on internal controls. However, if in the course of performing our audit, if we identify deficiencies in internal controls, then we do communicate those deficiencies to you. And those show up in the Yellow Book report, we call it the Yellow Book report, which is the other name for government auditing standards. In your financial statements, it's the very back, you'll see additional deliverables by us. That's where your schedule of expenditures of federal and state awards is, along with our opinion in accordance with Yellow Book and in accordance with uniform guidance. In professional standards, there are two different types of control deficiencies: material weakness and a significant deficiency. A material weakness is one that where there is a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement of the town's financial statement will not be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis. And a significant deficiency is not quite as severe as a material weakness, but severe enough that we believe they should be communicated so that you are aware of such a deficiency. During the course of our audit, we are reporting 7 control deficiencies. They are all itemized out here. The first is related to the condition of the financial reporting and accounting practices in 2022. We had identified inadequate segregation of duties. We had identified that the year-end close process was not being performed in a timely manner, and that there were several different reconciliations that had not been performed in a timely manner. We also noted, which is probably obvious to everyone, that when you were issuing a report in 2026 that you're late in accordance with the state standards. The local government commissions requires reports and financial statements to be issued by October 31st. And so we have a control deficiency because of the lateness of the report, as well as a control deficiency because the town did not have adequate controls in place to monitor the budget to ensure that expenditures did not exceed budgeted amounts. And in fact, one of the special revenue funds, which was legally required to have an adopted budget, did not in fact have an adopted budget. Finding 4, the town did not have adequate controls in place to record appropriate budget amendments to resolve budget shortfalls. There were a few funds that were in fund deficits, which was required by state statutes to not be in a fund deficit and to budget accordingly. Finding number 5 relates to your federal spending through the grant. The town did not have procedures in place to ensure documentation was maintained for for procurements subject to bidding requirements related to the grant. So vendors were procured. We're not saying that procurement did not take place, but we did not see documentary evidence that these procurement requirements have been followed. The town also did not have a formal policy to ensure documentation was retained to evidence revenue and submission of all reports. That was required by the FEMA grant, and the town did not follow the expenditure approvals policy, resulting in a failure to provide clear and consistent documentation of control over federal grants. In addition to those items, we did identify a few recommendations based on the presentation before me. I'm assuming that this is already well known and documented, but this was identified by management that there were some irregularities with the volume of gallons of water being billed and its output. And so the suggestion, the recommendation would be to be able to reconcile that and follow up on that irregularity, which it sounds like the town is already actively engaged in doing. As mentioned before, the federal program that was audited was the Disaster Grants Public Assistance, which is the FEMA grant, and then the state program, which was associated with that, the Disasters Grant Public Assistance. part of our audit, we identify certain adjustments, audit adjustments that are necessary to be made in order to align the financial statements in accordance with GAAP, with accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. And so this is just a summary of some of the audit adjustments that we proposed as a result of our audit. Additionally, when we perform an audit, we sometimes will identify audit adjustments that aren't necessarily material enough to require you to record in order to express an unmodified opinion. But in the spirit of transparency, we do summarize those uncorrected audit adjustments and let you know what those were after the slide summarizes. As part of our audit, we review qualitative aspects of accounting practices. We look at your note disclosures, we look at the implementation of accounting principles, any changes in accounting policies. During the year under audit, the town implemented GASB Statement 87 on leases. This was a big change for a lot of governments, required a different way of accounting for lease transactions. We also spent some time looking at any related party transactions that have been identified to ensure that they are properly disclosed. We look at any significant or unusual transactions. We've identified a couple of significant and unusual transactions. As Jimmy just talked about, the impairment loss on the Spring Lake Properties acquisition, we would consider that to be unusual as to the amount that's being written down as it related to that property. And as well as the extraordinary item that it was actually reported in 2021, but resulted in a restatement of beginning deposition fund balance in 2022. As part of our audit, we look at significant accounting estimates, which are summarized up here. The most significant estimates, of course, are your pension and OPEB liabilities. Jimmy just spoke at length about those. And we look at your financial disclosures. We found that the disclosures put together by management to support your financial statements amounts were very thorough, very forthcoming, easy to follow, and we're on the conservative side as far as should we disclose it? Let's just disclose it. It was very, very thorough, and it was something that we appreciated when we reviewed those financial statements. One of the most important parts of our audit opinion is the fact that we are independent, and so we do assess at the beginning and at the end of our audits whether or not we maintain this independence. One of the ways we do this is to identify whether or not we provided any non-attest services to management, to the town, and determine whether or not proper safeguards were in place to make sure that we are in fact independent. And I can safely say at the conclusion of the audit that we have maintained our independence as your auditor. The next couple of slides are just a checklist of items that we communicate on all of our engagements, whether or not we had difficulties encountered. We did identify that we did have difficulties encountered when performing this audit. It was a difficult audit, as I'm sure is apparent by how long it took us to get through the audit. The amount of folks that I think had to help track down documentation. We weren't able to use a lot of our staff. We found that we had to have our higher level auditors involved because of needing to sort through some of the information that was coming in. And so we're just communicating that with turnover of staff in 2022, no one to ask questions to who was actually here during that audit period. The lack of timely reconciliation, it did prove to be a bit of a difficult audit for us. But as we performed the audit, we did not have any disagreements with management. We noted no matters that were difficult or contentious, for which we needed to consult outside of our team. We do rely on management's representations as part of our audit evidence to certain things that are included in the financial statements. To the best of our knowledge, we have not seen that management has consulted with any other firms outside in order to arrive at a different opinion. We have no other findings or issues. We have not, as the data of our report, identified or become aware of any fraud, illegal acts, or violations, not counting what had been previously identified in earlier periods. And no events or conditions noted that indicate substantial doubt about the town's ability to continue as a going concern. In your financial statements, there are a few different things that we do not express an opinion on. You require supplementary information, supplementary information, and other information. This slide summarizes the degree of responsibility we take over reviewing that information. And the last thing to address with you, upcoming financial reporting changes. In the last several years, there have been several new accounting pronouncements that will impact the town. This slide is summarizing what those pronouncements are. GASB 96 and GASB 101 are probably the ones that require the most time and effort to implement. And so this is just letting you know what those are that your finance will have to implement in the coming years. And with that, I will open up to any questions that you might have for me.
Hindsight is definitely 2020. Wow, to see this spelled out, we have come a long way in these past few years. So a major kudos to staff, the LGC, Greg Isley, everybody who has worked diligently to, and are continuing to work diligently to rebuild our town and put us on a good financial footing. Mr. Overton, hands down, hats off to you. Thank you for what you've done with this audit. I don't have any questions at the moment, but I am opening up for the board. Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you, sir. I'm accustomed to having an audit as I served in the back. But on page 10, so the citizens will understand as well, but on page 10, and I think the findings of 2022 through 2004 is,
So, it's finding 2022-04.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I know we have our fire station number 2 in there. So just explain a little bit what you'll find and what is the material weakness.
So the requirement is to have a legally adopted budget. In order to spend public funds, that budget must be in place. And then if there's going to be any overspending, and by the way, that budget cannot exceed available funds. That's the pre-audit requirement, is that you have to have the funds available in order to budget it, in order to approve a purchase order. And so that has to be in place. And then if you are going to go beyond your budget, then there must be a budget amendment. And what this finding is getting to is that there were several funds requiring a budget that had deficit fund balances at the end of the year, which is an indication that the budget was not being followed, the budget amendments had not been gone through the proper.
All right, thank you, appreciate it. Mr. Dennis, Mr. Overton, when I got elected back on the board, I told him, when I went off, it was behind in our audit. So I'm so elated to know that with 2022 has been passed. Mr. Dennis, I met with you every Tuesday, as well as Mr. Overton, and we got those documents that some that you was able to get as well. So to get to this point, and we're gonna continue to move forward to get these audits complete, because they're behind. And in order for us to get any loans or anything to go forward, we need to have them complete. So again, I thank you for this presentation, and we'll continue to work with you all diligently for further audits being completed. Thank you.
Commissioner Thompson?
Can you go back to slide 18 real quick? I just want to see something. I think that's more distracting. Maybe I could be my eyesight, but right there at the end where it says the fiscal year ending June 30th of 2021, but on these slides that we have, it says 2022.
Yes, yeah, good catch.
Okay, all right, just making sure.
We made that change today. As I was going through this presentation today, I saw that date.
So we should be 2021?
It's 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Commissioner Jackson?
With this audit being done, do you see that the rest of that needs to be done would be easier to move through? Would you consider this to be one of the hardest ones?
I hate to be on record, right? It's not gonna be hard in 2022. Your finance team has worked very diligently getting us to this far. And so I would be optimistic going forward. But again, we have not done any work with anything in 2023 to make any sort of promise.
Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you personally. This has been a long time coming. It's been a lot of years of work, piecing information together, missing information. And I know this was a Herculean task for Mr. Overton, and kudos to you and the staff. It's amazing the work, what you were able to accomplish with this, considering how much information had to be put together to get us here. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, does that camera work?
Camera?
Yeah.
She's talking about the TV
Is
screen.
the TV off?
It's not coming on.
I didn't know. We are having some technical difficulties today. Our sincerest apologies. If you would like a copy of that presentation, I'll make sure you get one.
Thank you.
Later, not right now. We'll now move on to agenda item 8. And these are our public hearings, and we'll begin with ZON 26-0038, initial zoning request from County R10 Residential District to Town C3 Heavy Commercial District or more restrictive zoning district for parcel comprising approximately 1 acre located at 945 Livingston Highway, submitted by Land Alternatives PLLC on behalf of Atlantis Home Buyers LLC, Mr. Fagan. Good evening.
Good evening. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
I hope you guys are having a good evening. My name is Richard Fig. I'm Planner 2 with Cumberland County's Planning Inspections Department. I'm here to present case ZON 2638. Oh, there we go. Which is located within the town of Spring Lake, as denoted by the red star. The applicant and owner is Atlantis Home Buyers LLC. The agent is Land Alternatives PLLC. The request is an initial zoning request to go from County R10 Residential District to the Town of Spring Lake C3 Heavy Commercial District. The acreage of the approximate site is 1 acre. Some of the existing surrounding uses include single-family residential, multifamily, some offices, commercial, with some institutional as well. Just to note, as noted on this slide, church, strip mall, tattoo shop, some office space as well as some vacant commercial down to the south. Some of the surrounding zoning districts include, I'm going to go in a clockwise fashion here because there's a lot. So we have C3, N1PD, CP, R5A, R6A, R6. C3, I think I already mentioned that. I think that sums up all the related zoning districts in that area pretty well. This is an aerial image of the subject site to provide some color and character of the area. There is currently an existing single-family residential dwelling on the property, to the best of my knowledge. The applicant is also here, who can provide some additional clarity if there's any questions the board may have. The subject property does not contain any hydric or hydric inclusion soils. There are water and sewer lines that abut the frontage of the property along the Wilmington Highway. This is a topographical map to show the elevation of the subject property itself. The subject property contains relatively flat land. The site sits within the Spring Lake Area Land Use Plan and contains the commercial land use designation. Some of those commercial development goals include the Spring Lake Area Plan envisions a future where there is a thriving Main Street, high-quality housing, economic opportunity, activities for families and residents, and a sense of community. In addition, another goals include foster local entrepreneurship and small businesses that attract outsiders and make daily commutable stops. The greatest economic benefits come from the creation and development of local businesses. The associated zoning districts for commercial include C1, C3, CP, and HSP. This request is consistent with the Spring Lake Area Land Use Plan. This is a photo looking across from Wellington Highway, looking at the subject site. This is a north view with the subject property on your left-hand side. This is an east view looking away from the property. And this is a southwest view with the property on your right-hand side. Staff recommends approval of this request. The joint planning board met and recommended approval with a unanimous vote as well. That does conclude my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Are there any questions or comments from the board? Commissioner Cooper?
Yeah, I do have a question. So I noticed that most of the commercial activity is across the street, right?
Yes.
So you're saying they're asking for heavy commercial?
Correct.
What does heavy commercial include?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Heavy commercial, what does it include?
So it includes, it's the highest use for commercial. So anything that's within the permitted use table, which I actually brought just in case. And if you like, I can provide this to you as well, so you can see it. But it has a whole laundry list. So a couple of them would include like amphitheater assemblies, apparel and accessory sales, banking, bars and nightclubs. Yeah, just to mention a few. Without going through the whole list.
Is there another option other than heavy commercial?
Well, the applicant chose C3. They can speak to the specific reasoning for C3. If I recall correctly, Mr. Dewar is the representative for Land Alternatives. Go ahead and speak on that.
My name's Greg Dewar with Land Alternatives. I very much appreciate that question. We had that same question at the Joint Planning Commission. We didn't have any other option. We wanted to do a multi-tenant retail building. We can't do that in any other zoning category that you guys have for commercial. The planned commercial, you need to have a minimum 2 acre size. Neighborhood commercial doesn't allow retail. So we want a neighborhood retail. We can't, the majority, if not most, of the heavy commercial uses aren't physically possible to fit on a 1 acre parcel. So the only designation that was available that could fit a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant retail building that would be in fitting with what the intent of the area use plan is was heavy commercial. I know it sounds kind of odd, but that's what your UDO gives us a choice of. We worked hard with Richard to try to figure out how to pick one that would work. And you can't do a manufacturing facility on a 1 acre triangle piece of property. You can fit a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant retail building. Any other questions along that, I'd be happy to answer, because we've been trying to figure out how to make this work for a long time. Thank you.
What about, what a variance or conditions, are we allowed to do that?
If the board so chooses, you may opt in to request conditional zoning if you would like. That is an option that the board has available to you.
Let's get through the hearing before we talk
conditions. I do have a question. So if we were to zoom out on that map, and this parcel is specifically on the Lincoln Highway, all of the parcels facing the Lincoln Highway, how many other than that one area are zoned residential?
Well, let me go back here. So, aside from a handful, are you talking about like the north side of the?
Right, and so if we're on the Lincoln Highway, we're
Right.
driving down, there's Walmart, there's the Waffle House, we've got some car places and a storage place, and then we're moving up to FTCC or then west. How many parcels facing Lillington Highway are residential, or is it just that particular area?
So I can't tell you the exact amount. But, so there's at least a handful that are residentially zoned or used residentially. So I can point to that. But as you can see with the existing zoning districts, you can see CP down to the south, there's C3. There's C3 directly to the northeast as well, along with M1, DCUD as well, so.
Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, thank you. I now declare this public hearing open. And I will call for anyone to speak in favor of this request. Please approach the podium. State your name and address for the record.
Hey, you guys. My name is AJ with Atlantis Home Buyers, 945 Wellington Highway. And when we originally bought this parcel, we were thinking residential. However, it is off of a main highway, and we thought residential really wasn't the best choice. After working with Craig and Richard, commercial, industrial was the best we could come up with to be able to do what we wanted to do, which is a retail store. That's it. Just want to put that out there.
So no residential, it's not gonna be like mixed use?
It's not mixed use, no.
So just strictly commercial?
Strictly commercial, yeah. Like a 6,000 square feet retail store.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak for this request? For? Please approach the podium, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Debbie Sanford, and you know what I'm looking for, and I want to know if there's anything for the children in these areas that they're talking about.
This is for you to speak in favor or of the request.
If it's not for the children, no, I'm not in favor of it. Thank you.
Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Again, is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Last call, is there anyone here to speak in favor of this request? Hearing none, is there anyone here to speak in opposition of this request? Please approach the podium and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Mayor, and happy birthday. Thank you. Commissioners, my name is Sheila D. Spence, and I'm here tonight representing my family's legacy land, our heirs and our neighboring legacy land owners. We have submitted a formal numbered fact sheet, which each of you should have by now, and supporting exhibits to the clerk for the official record. We strongly oppose the heavy commercial rezoning. To assist you, our new handout package directly links our key opposition points to the attached exhibits. Fact 1, standing and effective legacy landowners. We stand united with our immediate neighbors.
If you would like to have your names entered in for the record, you can approach the podium and give your name and address, please.
My name is Calvin King. I'm the son of Robert E. King, the grandson of James and Eula May King, and I am in complete opposition. I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm here to oppose this action.
And I'm Regina Hicks. I am the daughter of Teresa Hicks, and I defer my comments to Sheila Spence.
I'm Jimmy Hicks. I am the oldest grandson of James S. King. I am to oppose this item, and I will defer the rest of my time to Sheila Spence.
Hello, my name is Alicia McDowell, and I am the great granddaughter of James C. King. I'm in Atlanta, and I give my time to Sheila King.
Good evening, my name is Sheila Spence, named after my grandmother. I'm also in opposition, and I will defer my time to her. Thank you.
We need addresses for the record as well, so I'm sorry.
Sure.
We could get,
I'm in Durham, North Carolina.
Good evening and happy birthday.
thank you.
I'm also opposing, my grandmother is Louise King.
Name and address?
623 Samuel Drive.
Thank you.
Anne Marie Carrington, 500 Samuel Drive, I oppose.
I'm sorry, Mayor Commission. I am at 609 Samuel Drive, Spring Lake, North Carolina. I have resided there the majority of my life, other than being in the military. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. So again, we stand united with our immediate neighbors. That's exhibits A and D in your packet. Ms. Dorothy Cuddaford, the elderly adjacent landowner who signed the opposition petition and supporting our opposition, is not able to be here tonight. We have the heirs of James C. and Eula May King. Again, my cousins who were just introduced, traveled from several states just to stand with us in this room this evening. And Alex and Shayla Edwards, they are co-trustees for the rear parcel. They are actually stationed abroad, or living now abroad, but their opposition letter is also included in your packet. It is Exhibit D. We request that this board deny C3 rezoning for 945 and 959 Burlington Highway. 2, statutory violations. Under NCGS 160D-605, matching a future land use map is legally insufficient approval. The commission is required to affirm that this rezoning is reasonable and protect community welfare. A colored map is not enough. Maps do not show where neighbors' bedrooms are. In fact, going across the property is actually the bedroom of my uncle's, the house that he was living in, his bedroom. Where a commercial truck will get stuck or where roadside memorial flowers are placed. Conventional C3 fails the statutory test. Number 3, land use incompatibility and flex area breach. This request violates the 2022 Spring Lake Area Land Use Plan, which restricts this traditional flex area to light commercial uses that shed neighborhoods. An intense 24-hour C zoning destroys that protection. As proven by the land glide maps, exhibits B and C in your packets, you will see that this narrow strip physically lacks the space required to protect single-family yards. Number 4, physical impossibility and engineering failures. Under section 100-2 of the Cumberland County zoning ordinance, commercial uses adjacent to residential districts must maintain a permanent 6-foot solid buffer screen. This dramatically reduces the buildable area of these narrow parcels. Furthermore, heavy C3 operations demand a 50-foot truck turning radius, which requires a 100-foot wide turnaround space. Due to the restricted width, it is physically impossible to maintain the required buffer while providing a safe turning circle. Trucks will either back blindly into highway traffic or directly onto our private property lines. Number 5, public safety and pedestrian crisis. This introduces an active threat to public safety. This stretch of Lillington Highway endures heavy traffic congestion. On March 13th of this year, a fatal pedestrian accident occurred right in the 900 blocks, and this is just steps away from the subject parcels. Our neighborhood lost Karen, a beloved face in this community and a family member of our immediate neighbor. Forcing high-impact C3 commercial entraways have multiples, transit conflicts, and turns a non-safety hazard into a public crisis. 6, rushed transactional timeframe and bypassed public purpose. The timeline minimizes financial risk of community integration. The applicant closed on June 17th and went to the planning board just 34 days later. At that meeting, the applicant admitted on the record that he did not know who owned the property directly behind his site. Facilitating a rapid real estate transaction for an unprepared applicant fails the standard for determining if the change serves the broader public interest. Number 7, chronic vacancies and zero market demand. Squeezing heavy commercial zoning into a stable residential neighborhood serves no public purpose. The economic reality proves that this corridor is already oversaturated, as proven by Exhibit D in your packet. Empty storefronts remain unutilized minutes away from the subject properties. They include 630, 670, 844, 908, and 1040 Lillington Highway, one of which is a Zone C3 zone commercial unit. Over a year now, the unit is move-in ready, but there's only one tenant in that property that's minutes away from the subject property. So there is no logical economic or planning justification to compromise stable residential neighborhoods when ample commercial sites sit vacant along this exact corridor. The final request, and this is to our board. The applicant bears the burden of proof, and they have failed. The lots are too narrow. The highway has an active pedestrian safety crisis. The accelerated process bypassed neighborhood due diligence, and the corridor is already saturated with empty commercial space. We have attached formal project questions under each section of our fact sheet. The developer cannot answer critical layout and zoning constraints, among other fatal issues. These unanswered flaws make this application completely incomplete. We respectfully ask the board to uphold our community's integrity and deny case Z0N260038 and its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here to speak for or against? Please approach the podium. State your name and address for the record. Oh, I'm sorry, against. Thank you for that.
I'm Craig Dewar, Hunters.
Are you speaking for or against?
I'm absolutely for, and I would like an opportunity to address
Respond.
the comments that were made.
We are allowed to.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was very quiet and respectful when they spoke. I like the same return. I think a lot of the things that were said are not in context with what I'm here for. I'm not here with a site plan. This site can fit what we are proposing. That's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about land use and zone. And we did not rush this. We've actually spent close to a year working on this. And working with staff, working with the county to come up with what is working. This was a vacant residential property. We looked at it, the market doesn't support a residential use here. So we pivoted to what the market is telling us. This site plan will comply with every single UDO requirement in terms of setbacks, buffers, stormwater, traffic, access. That's not what we're here to do today. I'm not here today. I can't come to you today with this site plan. That's not what staff has asked us to do. So, to say that this is insufficient, that is what zoning is. You say, is it compatible with the future land use plan? Staff says it is. The Joint Planning Commission says it is. They don't like it, and I apologize, they don't like it. It's consistent with the plan. That is what the job is of determining whether it is or is not consistent. They're the professionals, your advisory board are the professionals. It is not a rush transaction. It is something that will meet all the requirements that they're concerned about. The use will 50-foot truck radiuses and all that. There's not going to be a use that has to be demonstrated on. It does, I agree, it won't fit. It's going to be a small parking lot, a small building that will drive in and drive out, and it'll work, and it'll have the proper buffers. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. We're here to talk about, is it consistent with the land use plan or not? And we've already had to go through, this has already been annexed into the town. So he's already paying taxes. So I just, if there was a question I could actually answer that made sense, I would.
I have questions.
Please do.
What is actually proposed for that site?
We are considering a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant retail building.
Can you go into a bit more detail on what type of, can you go into a bit more detail on
What
that?
the uses are? We do
Not
not know what the
uses,
uses are.
but what's proposed for that other than a 6,000 square foot retail site?
That's it. That's what we're proposing, a 6,000 square foot multi-tenant retail building.
A strip mall?
It's not a strip mall, it's a 6,000 square foot building.
I just, please, Mr. Fagan.
Yeah, so I'm not here to speak for or against. I just want to make that clear. So just to provide some clarity, so this is a legislative hearing. So it goes before the board reviews their comprehensive plan, staff's recommendations, the Joint Planning Board's recommendations, and then we'll make ultimately an approval or denial or offer a a different type of zoning request. And just to provide some additional clarity, it's legislative, whereas quasi-judicial places the burden on the applicant. So this is a bit different in that respect. I do have the minutes from the joint planning board that I think will help provide some understanding as to their decision, why they recommended approval. So the board noted the property sits on a commercial corridor less than a half mile from 3 major shopping centers, making it difficult to vote against both the staff recommendation and the Spring Lake Area Land Use Plan designation. So they looked at the surrounding area to see if it was consistent and in harmony with the surrounding area. And they also looked at the future land use plan and looked at the commercial land use designation. Is it designated commercial? So that was the 2 things they were looking at when they made that recommendation for the minutes. So that provides some clarity.
Commissioner Jackson?
So basically what you're saying in a nutshell, you can't tell us what's going on. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for, but you want us to vote on something that we don't know what's going in, so it could be a club, it could be a strip joint, it could be a smoke shop, it could be anything. So you don't have an idea? I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. So I mean, we wouldn't be able to provide any specific intent of the use. Right now, we're just looking at the respective zoning district that the applicant has requested, right? So with that zoning district, there's, different dimensional provisions for setbacks. There are landscaping provisions that ultimately, once let's say this does get approved, it would go through the development review process where a site plan would be submitted. And where staff would then review, landscaping, parking space requirements, any kind of streetscaping along Bloomington Highway. Those sorts of things would be addressed at the development review period. In this process here with this legislative hearing, we're looking at just the zoning. So there is a remedy for what you're talking about to see, okay, is this going to conform to the Spring Lakes Code of Ordinances? And there is a process for that. It's a development review process where staff will look through and make sure that the site plan conforms to the board's code, the town's code.
Do we know how long that house has been vacant?
I do not know.
I can answer that. It's been at least.
Please approach the podium.
Oh, sorry. It's at least been a couple of years, and still is vacant.
Couple years.
2 years that I know of, because I've been talking with Ms. Jackson for a while.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I have a site plan, but it's not part of this process.
Right,
I
we
would share
understand that.
I would share it with everyone, but I'm not here to get a site plan review, and that's just so kind of like my hands are tied behind my back. So it's not that uses are going to be market driven. I know that a vape shop is not allowed. One of the uses that's not allowed. So a sex shop, that kind of stuff is not allowed. And bowling alley doesn't fit. Sorry. I would love to share a site plan.
We have to keep, only comments coming from the podium, please. Mayor Pro Tem?
I think it was asked, but, thank you. Well, concerns that I do have, about the C3 heavy commercial. And then I think I heard, that you stated you're not sure what you're gonna put in that area, but the residents are concerned because you're not sure what you're gonna put in the area. And I think you say that it could be a club or whatever, because right now we don't know, so the residents are concerned, as well as the 210 and with the traffic already. We don't have any traffic signals or anything there. We've been trying to get traffic signals there for probably over 20-some years. And we've had, in that area, the town of Spring Lake had devastated casualties in the area. But, so I'm a little concerned not knowing what is going in the area. And the question here, when it says heavy, commercial, and then the barriers and the turnaround, and then still there's no traffic signals, or DOT, I don't even know if they've been, said anything about that. But I don't even know if y'all contact them, because there is no traffic signals there.
That would be the next phase. So right now, we are
That
just
is my
determining if we wanna allow them to use this land as commercial, or do we wanna keep it residential? If we decide tonight to change the zoning or not, then they would go forward and say, this is the type of business we want to put there, but they can't take that step until it's actually zoned commercial. So we're looking at the fact that this property is right on Lillington Highway, it faces the highway. That corridor is commercial, it's right across the street from REA, so it is a very commercial area. It's kind of like cat corner, that's REA right there, that big white building.
Yeah, but it's not right across the street.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
That's not frequent for us.
I was driving out there today to go look at it. So all we're doing right now is saying, do we want to let that piece of property be used potentially for some sort of residential, or leave it as residential so we can keep a house there and only use for houses, or do we want to allow that particular piece of land to potentially to be developed into something that falls within that C3 heavy industrial, which is a specific list. It is the most comprehensive, so it gives you the most leeway to do the most things. But there are certain things. Now, did you say, can you verify if smoke shop, if that's something that it's not authorized in C3 heavy industrial? Because according to our land use plan, this corridor is zoned for commercial. And that's what's happening is we're looking at development for the next 20 plus years. But we're also looking at the fact that there are people who currently live there. And please. And they are, I mean, we can't tell them that they have to rezone their land commercial too. So those are things, but we need to take into consideration. But as Mr. Fagan said, this is a quasi-judicial hearing. And so there are 4 fact-finding standards that we have to use in order to determine if this falls into those particular categories.
This is not a quasi-judicial.
I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you.
You can't speak from, if it's not at the podium, you cannot speak.
You're speaking. It's okay. I got this. Thank you. Mr. Fagan?
Remind me of the question, I'm sorry.
You were looking for the types of uses that are permitted in C3 heavy commercial.
Correct, so if you would like, I can run through them.
Yes, please.
Okay. So there's accessory uses incidental to any permitted use by right, amphitheater, assembly, so halls, armory, stadium, coliseum, community center, that sorts of use. Let's see here. And there's bakery production wholesales, baking on premises, and retail only. There's banking, barber and beauty college, barber and hairdressing and salon services, bars and nightclubs, bicycle sales and repair. Billboards require a special use permit. Bingo, blacksmithing, locksmith services, boats and accessories, retail sales and services, books and printed matter sales. Let's see. Yeah, books and printed matter distribution, building supplies, bus repair and storage terminal activities. Let me know if you'd like me to stop at any point. But I'll keep going. Bus repair and storage terminal activities, bus station activities, local service only. Call center, candy, confectionery, on sale premises only. Carpet and rug cleaning, cemetery, public cemetery. Clubs or lodges not regulated by section 42-91. Convenience retail with gasoline sales, including incidental motor vehicle washing, like a gas station with a car washing. convenience retail with gasoline sales, including incidental motor vehicle washing, daycare facility, delicatessen operations, dry cleaning.
That's.
I apologize, yeah, just wanted to make sure.
I wanted to make sure too, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you. My biggest problem is C3, heavy commercial. Because once you give them that, you can't take it back. It's just like R6A. Once you give it to them, they can do whatever they want with it. So that is my biggest problem, is that it's so broad and you can just do anything with it. So, if they want to do a variance or something,
Any other questions or comments from the board?
And just as a reminder, this isn't an initial zoning. So the board would have to assign a zoning for its zoning map tonight in this area. Otherwise, it would go unzoned.
All right, I now declare this public hearing closed. We will move on to our next public hearing, which is BOA 2026-0009, consideration of a special use permit to allow a monopole tow two-sided digital billboard in a C3 heavy commercial zoning district on a portion of a .074 plus or minus parcel located at North Manchester Road and South Long Monroe Street, submitted by Mr. Robert Moore on behalf of AMCB Holdings Company, LLC. Mr. Fagan? Did I say Murchison?
You said Manchester.
That's my brain. Murchison Road. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mayor, members of the board. My name is Richard Fagan, Planner 2, Cumberland County's Planning Inspections Department. I'm here to present case BOA 2026-0009, which is located within the town of Spring Lake. This special use permit request is for a billboard. This is the sign detail that the applicant has provided, Mr. Robert Moore. The billboard itself is 35 feet high, 35 feet high. Two-sided with a V configuration, and it would be facing Murchison and would not be facing any residentially zoned property or uses within the area itself. And Mr. Moore is here today, so if there's any specific questions about the billboard itself, it is all digital. Feel free, he is available for questions. As mentioned, the applicant and owner is AMCB Holdings Company, LLC. The agent is Robert Moore. The request is for a special use permit for a two-sided digital billboard on a parcel that's approximately 0.74 acres. So pursuant to section 42-63.3, which is the use matrix within the Town of Spring Lake zoning ordinance, a billboard within the C3 zoning district requires a special use permit. Additionally, section 42-294, 1D states all billboards are considered as a principal use of property and shall be allowed in the C3 heavy commercial district upon approval of a special use permit. Section 4290 requires the Board of Commissioners to grant approval of a special use permit. The Board of Commissioners shall consider the application, site plan, and any other evidence presented in accordance with this article. You may grant or deny the special use permit requested. Prior to granting the special use permit, the Board of Commissioners shall give consideration to the following statements and findings that they have been fulfilled. I'll go through these. The first is location, site design, and operating characteristics of the proposed development or use will be compatible with and will not adversely affect the livability or appropriate development of abutting properties and surrounding neighborhood. 2, the proposed development or land use is in harmony in scale, bulk, coverage, function, and density with this ordinance. 3, the development or land use has adequate public facilities and utilities. 4, the development or land use will mitigate the generation of traffic created and the increased capacity of surrounding streets. And 5, the development or land use meets the purpose and intent of the adopted comprehensive plan for the physical development of the zoning district in which it is located, and the protection of the environment is provided. The burden of proof is placed on the applicant to demonstrate compliance with each of these 5 criteria. Additionally, in granting approval of a special use permit, the Board of Commissioners shall impose such reasonable terms and conditions which have been noted within the staff report that's been provided to you, as it may deem necessary for the protection of the public health, general welfare, and public interest, and as authorized under NC General Statutes, Chapter 168. Some of the surrounding zoning districts include C3, and I'll go in a clockwise fashion again. We have R6, R10, and directly to the northwest, there's some MG Archive as well as CD, which is the Main Street overlay area. Additionally, to note, the subject property does abut the Fort Bragg military reservation. Additionally, the subject property does abut Fort Bragg military installation. One thing to note, W.T. Brown School is right there, right directly to the southeast. Directly to the northwest, you have some commercial uses, and then a little farther to the north, there is a residential subdivision. This is the site plan which has been attached in the staff report. The proposed location, the height, the setbacks all meet and conform to the district dimensional provisions for a billboard located within the C3 zoning district. Additionally, the spacing requirement of 500 feet is also met. The closest billboard location is approximately 1,400 feet. And if you locate the position of the billboard and how it's going to be facing, faces Murchison Road. It doesn't face any residential or residential use or residentially zoned properties. So, special use permit key conditions. These are also highlighted in the staff report before you. I'll try not to go through all of them. I'll highlight a couple. Billboard shall not face or be oriented toward any adjoining or abutting residentially zoned or residentially used property, and shall not be located within 200 feet of a residential zone district boundary line. Billboards are exempt from the landscaping and buffering provisions of this chapter. Dimensional criteria. Billboards constructed and located in the zoning district shall have a maximum sign area of 500 square feet and shall be located at least 50 feet from the street right-of-way line, 5 feet from any property line not a right-of-way line, 50 feet from any other freestanding sign, building or structure on the same lot, and be a minimum of 500 feet from another billboard. The sign shall not exceed a height of 35 feet. The special use permit should only be for a two-sided digital billboard for outdoor advertising purposes. And any changes to the billboard design that is deemed a major modification or proposed relocation outside of the location shown in the special use permit site plan will require resubmittal to the Board of Commissioners for approval. Additionally, we did coordinate with Fort Bragg and RULAC, and we noted a specific condition in case the applicant needed to access property because it's close proximity to Fort Bragg, that it would need to coordinate in advance prior to any kind of access onto Fort Bragg property for construction or access or any of that nature. This is a picture of the subject property across from Monroe Street. This is a northwest view with the subject property on your left-hand side. This is a northeast view looking away from the subject property. And this is a southeast view with the subject property on the right-hand side. And then this is a view of the subject side with Murchison on your left-hand side, the property on your right. That concludes my presentation. I apologize, I was a little long-winded, I tried to get through that. But if there's any questions you may have, we do need to be sworn in since it is a quasi-judicial hearing. So the applicant is here, I am here. So that basically is it.
Absolutely. So, Madam Clerk, will you swear them in for this? For the. Go get the language. Did we have any questions for Mr. Fagan before we begin the public hearing? have everyone who's speaking for, because we can do one swearing in for everyone. Is there anyone else that needs to speak? We can swear them all in at one time. And that goes for those who are speaking in favor or opposition of this as well. So if you plan on speaking during this public hearing, please stand and come to the front so we can swear you in. Go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this matter shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I now declare this public hearing open. Mr. Reagan? Did you have something? Are you speaking?
And then this is Mr. Moore, Robert Moore. He is the applicant agent.
I've got a letter I wanted to hand each of you from the property owner in support of this recommendation.
Thank you. And feel free to read that out loud. That way we can have it on the record.
Okay. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for allowing us to be before you tonight. I'm going to read this letter first. It says, it's from Andrew McConnell. He's the property owner for the site where the billboard is located. Dear Mayor, members of the Board of Commissioners, on behalf of AMCB Holdings Company, we respectfully request your support and approval of special use permit BOA 2026-0009 for the proposed billboard on our property. Our property is located within the C3 Heavy Commercial District. Proposed billboard site designer intended to comply with the Town of Spring Lake's applicable billboard regulations and requirements. Subject to the conditions established through the special use permit process, the town's proposed order specifically requires that the billboard remain consistent with applicable billboard provisions of the Spring Lake zoning ordinance. We believe this is reasonable and appropriate use of commercially zoned private property. Approval of the special use permit will allow otherwise productive commercial use of the property while providing additional advertising resources for local business organizations and community interests seeking to reach Spring Lake residents, military families, commuters, and visitors. The project also represents additional private investment in town of Spring Lake, provides an opportunity to put commercially zoned property to productive use. As a property owner, AMCB Holdings Company, LLC, is committed to complying with all conditions established by the town to maintain the property and billboard in a safe, clean, and professional manner. We respectfully ask the Mayor and Board of Commissioners to support special use permit BOA 2026-0009 and approve the proposed billboard subject to conditions established in the town's review and approval process. Thank you for your consideration and for your continued service to the town of Spring Lake and its residents. I'll answer any questions you guys have, but the main thing I wanted to share with you is that Richard and I have worked together over the last several months to come up with a site plan and make sure we were in compliance with all the regulations that the town has when it comes to billboards. And that's no larger than 500 square feet, no closer to 200, you have to be at least 200 feet from residential zone, 35 foot high, and at least 500 feet on another billboard. We're well beyond all those, and we think this complies with all the town's regulations, and I think we agreed to an agreement that would make sure that we comply with all those regulations. So I ask you guys to support this. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Lawrence Sansalons with Mr. Robert Ward here. I just wanted to say that we operate a lot of digital billboards in and around North Carolina, and that we always try to be really good neighbors to the communities that we're in, because we feel like we're a partner in that community. And we try to promote small business in the communities in which we operate, which is what we like to do in Spring Lake.
Thank you. Is there anyone else to speak? Of course not, because you get sworn in. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Hearing and seeing none, I now declare this hearing closed. Thank you. All right, we will now move on to our new business, and our first order of business is the oath of office of our new town manager, Mr. Dennis English, given by Commissioner Jackson. was gonna ask if your wife wanted to join you. And the babies.
I, Dennis English Jr.,
I, Dennis English Jr.,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the constitutional laws of the United States
and the Constitution and laws of North Carolina,
and the constitutional laws of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of my office as town manager for the town of Spring Lake, North Carolina, and that I will not allow my actions as town manager to be influenced by personnel or political friendships or obligations. So help me God.
So help me God.
Town manager. Bishop, town manager.
Thank you.
Mr. English, you have to introduce us to your family.
Sure. Madam Mayor, first I want to thank you all for this opportunity to serve as the town manager of Spring Lake. I am honored and humbled. I want to introduce my 8-year-old daughter, Briella English. Come on up. Thank you for staying 2 hours, 2-hour meeting. Bryson.
Bryson ready to go to sleep. I want Bryson ready to go.
And my beautiful wife, Susan English. Thank you all for being here and supporting me. You turn around and say hello.
Well, Miss Susan, thank you for lending your husband. He is our permanent town manager now, so we might have to borrow him for a little bit longer than we have in the past. So I'm asking in advance to not beat him up too badly when we send him home in shambles, because we probably will. This is a job that's not for the faint of heart, and he is going to need a very, very strong support system and someone in his corner to help him through this. We all need that, and he has the most important position in the town. Oftentimes people think it's us up here, but we come up with these visionary ideas, but we need somebody who has boots on the ground to implement these things, and so we plan on putting him to work very, very, very hard. So just want to brief you in advance, so you're not like, what did you walk into? I told you. And he's in now, he just swore on the Bible. So welcome to you as well and your family to the team.
Briefly, actually, I just got a tooth pulled today, so I'm a little, it's hard to talk, but just happy to be here. Thank you all so much for all the work that you're doing. I'm seeing the work being done all the time as you all are making all these decisions. So thank you so much for allowing him to be here.
Thank you. You have a beautiful family. Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh.
We're gonna let you stay down there for a few more seconds, see what you're feeling.
Can you please have your church family to stand as well?
Church family.
It goes all the way from door.
And
Well, welcome.
my mother-in-law as well.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. And thank you for
staying
being
2
here.
hours as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're not finished, sir. Your job, you gotta come on back up. All right, back to business. No more fluffy stuff. We'll now move on to new business item B, 9B, ZON 260038, initial zoning request from County R10 Residential District to Town C3 Heavy Commercial District or more restrictive zoning district for parcel comprising approximately 1 acre located at 945 Lillington Highway, submitted by Land Alternatives PLLC. Subject to discussion. Board members, if you have no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny ZON 260038. Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you, Mayor. I make a motion to deny, zone 260038.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Second that motion.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is denied for ZON 260038. We'll now move on to BOA 2026-0009, consideration of a special use permit to allow a monopole tow two-sided digital billboard in a C3 heavy commercial zoning district on a portion of .0474 plus or minus parcel located at North Murchison Road and south along Monroe Street, submitted by Robert Moore. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve DOA 2026-0009, consideration of the special use permit.
Commissioner Burgess?
A second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We will now move on to agenda item 9D, amended Cherry Beckert LLP contract. Mr. Overton.
You have a copy of the local government commission's amended contract form. There are two changes. The change in the fee from $45,000 to $85,000, and the change in the due date from December of '23 to August 31st of '26. Request that you approve this. We have to have this. It has to be submitted with the audit report, and it also has to be approved by the LGC before we can finish it. When we upload the audit next week.
Any questions from the board? Mayor Pro Tem?
It might be on here, but, Mr. Overton, right here where it says, it was 45, then additional, Mr. 85,000. What would be the reason for the increase?
There are several reasons. Number one, the records were in terrible shape when they got here. That was the delay of the audit, because the records had to be updated. Spring Lake property acquisitions, those records hadn't even been looked at all, okay? I had to go through 2 years worth of that. Also, as Mr. Anderson pointed out, because of some of the difficult issues with this audit, it had to be done by their higher up staff partners, not the kids that just graduated from college last week. But we do a lot of audit work because the other thing is we had a change in scope. We did not spend $750,000 in '22, okay? So originally it was thought that we did not need a single audit for '22. However, we did spend $794,000 in 18, 19, and 20 combined. Unfortunately, back then, nobody bothered to file a reimbursement to get reimbursed by FEMA. Thank you to to Jason Williams, that when he took over as interim manager in March of '21, he filed a request to get reimbursed for all those 3 years that had not been done by the previous finance director. So Mr. Williams, Jason caught all of those records up, we got reimbursed and we received the check in November of 21, which is in fiscal year 22. So we actually had to do a single audit in 22 for money we spent in 18, 19, and 20. Okay? Also, because the records were not ready when they came in 23, they had to do all of their other audit clients first who had their records ready. And that also caused a delay. That is the reason, those are some of the reasons for this. And I want to thank Mr. Williams, also thank my staff and in the finance department, and also thank Renee and Lakeisha in the revenue billing department for helping to get all of this information together to get this audit done. But that is the reasons for the increase in the fee.
Any other questions from the board? Commissioner Cooper?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the amended Chair Decker contract.
The second? Commissioner Thompson?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the amended Chair Director contract. We'll now move on to Budget Amendment BA3 FY 2027. And this is a motion to approve Budget Amendment BA3 to award the Wapiti Drive Storm System Improvement contracts to Fred Smith Company in the amount of $1,106,000 and authorize the town manager to execute the contract documents upon satisfaction of all conditions of the award. Mr. English?
Sure. So this grant was awarded in 2024. And so what we found out, to answer your question, Commissioner Cooper, in the last meeting, we did receive an extension. Okay, so I know you were wondering what that was going to be. We did get an extension for November of this year. When construction begins, we will get another extension as well. We request that. What I did was, in the past week, had conversations with Golden Leaf, and they will actually go ahead and, when their board meeting happens, they will be asking for reimbursement for the funds because we are now over budgeted. So that was some good news. We have to now justify, of course, write down what that need is for, which will be, obviously the project, economy, things that went up since 2024 from a construction standpoint. So we do have the money in our stormwater fund, as Jimmy Overton mentioned earlier. So I'm just asking for the opportunity to move forward with this project, especially now that we know Golden Leaf will be reimbursing us for the difference.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion that we approve Budget Amendment BA3 FY 2027.
Commissioner Cooper?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to BA5 FY 2027. Mr. Robert?
So the key.
I'm sorry.
See,
Did I miss one?
No.
B4.
3, 4, 5.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, B4.
9F.
That's what I said. BA4 FY 2027. We just did 3. We're on 4.
Oh, yeah.
BA4 payment, yes. Go ahead, Mr.
So we have received pricing from all of our contractors to move our kiosk to our Parks and Recreation Center. The public will now have an opportunity to pay their water bills 24/7. Now they'll have an opportunity to continue to use the drive-through window, as well as come into Town Hall. So now our citizens have 3 opportunities to pay their water bill. And so we do have pricing for all of the contractors, concrete, electrical, as well as the for the canvassing, there will be some protecting the kiosk from the rain and all the elements as well. So we want the approval, if we can receive your approval to move forward with the kiosk relocation, and we appreciate that.
What's the difference in moving it from where it was here at Town Hall to just directly across the street?
$11,409.10.
What's the impact?
Well, I believe that we will receive more with those individuals who have to have, jobs from 8 to 5. Now they can actually, instead of the town hall closing, they could go to the kiosk at any given time. So after hours, they have an opportunity to pay their water bill as well, and even on the weekend.
They could do that with it right here at Town Hall. It's just going from here to across the street. And where does the $11,000 come from? I know we're supposed to be taking money from stormwater.
We're moving $11,000 from the department.
I'm sorry, meters, from the meters.
Yeah, from the meters. Now, we had about 640 meters in the budget. This will reduce it from 640 to about 610. So we'll still have 610, money to buy 610 meters in the budget. And we may be able to buy more than that if Mr. Cannon can get us some meters at a little bit cheaper price. But that's, we still have 600, so we're not asking for any additional money. We're just going to buy 29 less meters.
Correct.
Okay.
Again, it's just going from here to across the street for $11,000. Do we have the funds to repair the window yet?
Yeah, that was already included in the budget. The estimate to repair the window was a little over $8,000. We already had $10,000 in this line item to cover that and any other repairs, and we're asking to add $11,600 to move the kiosk.
So $20,000 roughly for moving the kiosk across the street. That was right here. I entertain a motion for BA4 FY 2027. Commissioner Jackson? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think the benefit of it would be to our citizens, our seniors, especially our seniors who were having issues with trying to come into the building, especially during the rain. So it sounds like a lot, and it was a lot, but in the long run, it benefits the citizens, and that's what some of them want, an easier way to be able to pay their water bills without being able to be inconvenienced if they have any kind of health issues or anything going on.
Just for clarity, Commissioner Jackson, your point is more to open the window, not just the removal of the kiosk. You're saying the seniors want access to the window.
They want access to be able to pay their bills without coming inside.
Right, that's
so
what, yeah.
the kiosk was in the way of the window.
Yeah,
So that's why it was moved over there. So now everybody is happy, because I know at one of our meetings they stated about the younger folks being able to go to the kiosk. So now they can go to the kiosk. Our elderly citizens can pay anything, and then plus too, you bring a traffic to the recreation center. So people who don't know what's going on in Spring Lake now will have opportunity to know, because they're right there at the recreation center.
I just wanted to make sure I was clarifying your point. You were saying this isn't about moving the kiosk, this is about reopening the window so that the seniors have access to the window.
It's about satisfying the citizens.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
Thank you. Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you. I think my biggest problem was that when we put the kiosk in, it was done with a budget amendment that was voted on. But when they were removed, there was no vote. So the choice was taken from the board. And I think that's one of my biggest problems. And the fact that we now have to spend $20,000 more. Originally it was $70,000 we put them in, but now we have to spend $20,000 more. And you can only spend $1 once. And we can't afford to make these kind of decisions on the backs of our taxpayers. We already have on the highest taxes in the state. So we have to be careful how we spend every single one of our tax dollars that these citizens give to this town.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Burgess?
Do you know how many people used the one at Manchester?
Not a whole lot. There has been a little more activity there in the last month. We have seen about $50 to $100 a day maybe, but there was far more activity at this one located right here at Town Hall prior to it being taken out.
Any other questions, Mr. Burgess? Mayor Pro-Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. There was one of my questions as well, because it's still sitting there. I think you stated that it was $70,000 purchased for the kiosk machines. It wasn't $70,000 for them to put the kiosk machines in, because to my understanding, employees put those kiosks in.
That was the cost of the machines.
Exactly.
Plus
Yep, I'm just saying
installation.
what was just said.
Plus installation.
Right. All right.
Any further discussion? I'll now entertain a motion for budget amendment BA4 FY 2027. Commissioner Jackson?
I'm making a motion that we approve budget amendment BA5 FY 2027.
BA4.
BA4, I'm sorry, BA4 FY 2027. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Burgess?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to BA5, FY 2027. Mr. Overton?
The town has applied for a grant, and we've received preliminary approval from the state of North Carolina, a grant to fix, to do some construction, install bathrooms, build a trail, parking lot, and buy right away to actually make Muttsburg Park into a park, okay? The state has approved a grant of $1.2 million. This grant requires that the town match it with 20% of $307,000. So, wait a minute, I'm sorry. The total state grant is $1.5 million, okay? Our match is $380,000. So we're doing an amendment to the already existing Muttsburg Park project. We got $400,000 a couple of years ago for Muttsburg Park and the pipeline. This is another $1.5 million grant to actually build the park. Okay, it's in 4 phases. Phase 1 and 2 total $365,000. They require a match of 20% or $73,000. We already have in this year's budget $75,000 set aside for this match. Okay, that's for the design of the park, and also to buy a right-of-way acquisition, because we don't have any road frontage at that park at the current time. Phases 3 and 4 are the actual construction. They probably won't happen until next year or the year after. But we're doing a budget amendment for the entire life of the project, which could probably take 2 to 3 years to build. The second phase, construction, is $1.5 million. We have to match that with $300,000. We won't have to match that this year. That will be part of next year's budget. So we just need the 75 this year, but this is the entire ordinance for the entire project. Okay? We're also, the money that was left in the original grant from the Office of State Budget Management of $253,000, that will be used for the design of the park, the architect and engineering. The $380,000 match is for the actual construction.
Any questions, comments, discussion from the floor? Commissioner Jackson?
So I'm not really familiar with this park, but tell me if I'm wrong. We have to go through somebody else's property to get there?
Yes.
That's why we have to buy the easement, so that's what the.
We don't have any road frontage on The park is over there behind Balsa Wood, Old Chapel Hill Road. One of the owner of Balsa Wood has allowed us to use a path at the back of those houses that he has there, but we don't own any right of way over there. He's allowing us to use it. We will have to acquire some land in order to build a driveway to get into the park and into the parking lot.
I'm sorry, so could he stop us at any time from getting back there?
Yes, he could.
So, and we have been in discussion with the landowners in front, you know, where it says that coming soon, that boys coming soon,
Yeah.
that land.
That's
So we have been in discussion with the owners there, talking up to acquire potentially land there. And so we just have to set aside money to buy it eventually. Whether we got the easement from, what his name is, Carl Manning. Thank you, Carl Manning, for the easement from Balsawood, whether we work with him to acquire that or one of the other landowners, but this is just so we can set aside the money. When we get to that phase, we can buy the access. Does that provide a little clarity?
What if they don't sell?
You know what? We'd have to work with that. But I do know that the owners are expressly interested in.
And there are numerous property owners along Chapel Hill Road. If that wouldn't sell, we just go to someone else along there. Because there's a good part of it that's just woods front, so we probably should be able to buy the land from someone. Mr. Manning has been gracious enough to allow us to come and go behind Balsa Wood to get to the property. He has said he could tell us no at any time if you ask, but he has graciously agreed to let us use that for now, until we build the park.
Commissioner Burgess?
Isn't there another interest to that property?
Yes, there's another dirt path down the other end, but when the park's built, we will need a paved driveway for people to park back there. Now, this park it's still going to be a wooded park with walking trails and nature. It's not like a park for ball fields and stuff. But it will need bathroom facilities and a parking lot.
Mayor Protem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Well, those questions that you all asked, those are important questions. So you're asking for approval tonight, but we don't know if we're gonna be able to get there. There's several different homeowners you can ask, future reference. So why do we need to approve this tonight? I know it says here the justifications, and it says here, but the point, to approve the budget for $1,502,000 grant. So, I'm not understanding, then the matching is the 380.
When you adopt a capital project ordinance, you adopt it for the entire project, not just part of it, okay? That doesn't mean that you're committed to spend it at any time. It just gives you the authority. If we don't accept this grant, we can't build a park. And part of the grant acceptance is you have to approve a budget ordinance for the grant project. And that project has to cover the entire life of the project. Now, that doesn't mean, you said, but I will tell you this, if you turn down Parks and Recs grants from the state of North Carolina, the next time you apply, you'll be denied.
And
Mr. English?
so I'll add to that. I had a Teams call with Parks and Rec this past week. This grant is ready to go, but keep in mind, this is just phase 1 and 2. We still have a long way to go before we get to 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is made up of about $307,000, which is that match. So right now, for the $73,122, we're just doing engineering, design, permitting, construction, surveying, and the right-of-way acquisition. What I recommend and what I advise the board, those of you who haven't seen this property, is let's take a visit so you could see it firsthand. I'm a visual learner because this is an investment. Over time, this will be an investment, but it can also bring tourism and economic, some type of economic vitality to the community of Spring Lake. However, you all as the board have to make the decision on whether you want to spend this money long-term. We have set aside in our budget for Parks and Rec, because we already knew we were going to fund park projects. So we have in our budget the funding for phase 1 and 2 already. So my recommendation is that we put on some boots and go out to the trail and take a look and really put our eyes on it to see what this investment looks like. They do need an answer from me like tomorrow so they can get started. They need to know whether or not they will go ahead and administer the grant, this first phase 1 and 2. So I just wanted to share that with you all tonight.
One other thing I'd like to add, we already, like Dennis said, we already have the 70,000 we need this year, already budgeted. We've got a year or two to save up the 300,000. The second thing is, we're also discussing the sale of 160 acres of land. If you sell that land, that would give you the money to pay the 300,000 next year. Okay, so that could be, that the sale of the land proceeds could be used for this $300,000 match, if you so choose.
I just want to put some realistic expectations before our manager has y'all out there thinking you're gonna go to a park. This is a hiking trip, and you are gonna need bug repellent and some jeans and hiking boots. They took me back there, and my mom thought I was getting kidnapped. So and I highly recommend going back there because it is absolutely beautiful. Muttsburg is going to be a special addition to our town, unlike anything else. Like I said before, the closest thing we're going to get is Raven Rock, but now we'll have this along with our state park and beautiful scenic walking trails, and it's $1.5 million coming from the state. So that's a really big deal. So I hope we can move forward with this, and we've responsibly been budgeting for it, and it's in phases. So I think this is a huge win for our town. I don't know if your lights were. You're not talking.
It's not on.
It is. It's okay. We're gonna get you used to this. Okay. Commissioner Cooper.
Thank you. Some of you all probably forgot, we started cutting trees from Muttsburg, I believe in 2019, and then COVID happened. Yeah, so we had cut trees down for Muttsburg Park right before COVID happened. So this has been something that we've been wanting for years.
This project is a completed project. Mr. Burgess?
If Fayetteville Parks and Recreation is running our Parks and Recreation, are they putting any money in?
That $1.5 million is coming from, they applied for that grant. So that's how we got it. Commissioner Jackson?
That was part of my question too. So, just briefly explain. They're over it. They applied for it. So why are we making a decision? Because it's in Spring Lake?
It's because we still own the property. It's still ours. So remember, Cumberland County Parks and Rec, they're just like the managers. They're managing it for us. And so they're operating it like it's theirs, but it still belongs to us, and it's for our community's use. So instead of us having, our clerk or our planning department go out and apply for that stuff, Cumberland County is doing it for us, but we still have to put up the matching funds.
So is the park literally up under Fayetteville? Because when they did the contract, was it just a recreation?
Not this one. So all of our parks are now into the Cumberland County Parks and Recs tax system. We still own the land. We still own all the equipment. They're still ours. They just manage it. Like, it's kind of like when you own a property and you own the property, but you hire a property management company for your tenants. So
I know when you did the contract, was Muttsburg part?
Muttsburg is not a part of it, but when we first got awarded those particular funds from the state, we talked to them. This is when the LGC was involved, and we were talking to them about Muttsburg Park, and it was just a concept during that time. And Cumberland County Parks and Rec offered to manage that park, although that one isn't included into the Parks and Rec tax system because it wasn't officially a park yet. Once we get it to park status, we can put it into the Cumberland County Parks and Rec system, and then they will be responsible for the maintenance and upkeep and all that, the same way they do with our other parks.
And one more question, how safe is it? Because I'm hearing wooded areas.
Not now, it's not yet. That's what they're gonna do, and that's what we're paying for, the engineering designs, so they can go out there and say, we're gonna put, you know, a barrier here so you can look out on an overlook and see the little river. We're gonna put walking trails, so that the engineer will come out and they'll go over all of the site with all of the covenants that are already in place, and they'll develop that layout for us.
What about will the police department, somebody be able to ride through there just in case somebody want to take somebody back there and kidnap them?
That'd be further down the line, but absolutely. Way further, we'll look at that in a few years, but I'm glad you're thinking in that manner, so, yes. Is there anything I missed, Mr. Overton, Mr. English? Awesome. Okay, well then, if there are no more questions, I'll entertain a motion. Commissioner Cooper?
I make a motion that we approve a budget amendment BA-5 FY 2027.
Commissioner Thompson? I second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll now move on to Resolution 2026-16, a resolution of the Town of Spring Lake Board of Commissioners pursuant to NCGS 153A-122, making the Animal Services Ordinance, Chapter 3, Animals of the Cumberland County Code applicable within the Town of Spring Lake. Madam Alter.
Thank you, Mayor. So a few weeks ago, I received an email from a paralegal that works with Cumberland County asking for an fully executed copy of the resolution that the board adopted back in 2021. So I did a few days of research, never found it. So I reached back out to her, let her know that as far as I can see, this action was never taken. The Town of Spring Lake uses uses Cumberland County for animal control services. So we have adopted their ordinances. Back in June of 21, they made a change within their Chapter 3 animals and sent a letter to the mayor, and I'm assuming the clerk, for the town to change their ordinances to the same as Cumberland County. So that's where this came up. From what I could research, this was never taken care of. So I reached back out to her, asking her if the board should go ahead and move forward. And according to Assistant County Manager Rob Hasty, he stated that would be the correct action to do. So once the board adopts this resolution, an ordinance will follow, and that's the ordinance and the Appendix A that I will send to Municode to codify into our code of ordinances on the town website.
So she just explained both agenda item H and I at the same time. So I will entertain a motion if there is no discussion for resolution 2026-16. Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, can you just explain a little bit about the ordinance now? Right now, Cumberland County, we have a situation with the animals and stuff like that. Cumberland County is the one we call. So how is this gonna help the town of Spring Lake with having the ordinance, to make sure those animals are taken care of? And it normally takes a lot of time for them to get here, and sometimes they can't get here the same day, so how is this helping us?
Well, we have an interlocal agreement with Cumberland County
Right.
for our animal services. This is just stating that they changed it in June 2021. If the town of Spring Lake wants to continue doing animal control through Cumberland County, then we would need to amend our ordinances the same as Cumberland County.
Okay, we just wanna make sure though, because the ordinance that we're under now, with them servicing Spring Lake, it just takes an act of Congress to get them out here. When a person has an animal or different things that's happening. So I don't know if we need to add something to this ordinance to make sure?
We can't add to the ordinance because we follow along with Cumberland County. This is their
But what can we
ordinance.
do to make sure that our citizens are taken care of before we?
I mean,
So
I
what we
read-
do, what we do is we, as the board, and we gather the community together and we apply pressure, letting them know that we are a part of the service district. This is something as an email, or we can make sure our manager is talking to the departments at Cumberland County and letting them know that we are unsatisfied with the times, and have them address that.
Mayor, I have a suggestion. I usually, when I reach out to Cumberland County Animal Services, I always reach out to the director. There is a new director as of earlier this year, Diane Pfeiffer. I can request for her to come and introduce herself and make a presentation to the board as like the previous Animal Services Director did.
I like that, but I also want her to sit down with our manager so that
Okay.
she can hear our direct concerns, because I absolutely agree, it does take an act of Congress for animal control to get out here. So if we can make sure that they sit down and have a conversation and they do something about the service that they're providing us.
I will reach out to tomorrow. Also, I'll give Dennis, I'll give you her email address as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just glad we got some teeth in there that we can get it taken care of. Thank you.
Absolutely. Commissioner Jackson?
I basically wanted to know what that was, but y'all explained it, y'all. You put a resolution, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, so yeah, so thank you
Absolutely.
for clarity.
All right, well, I will now entertain the motion to approve resolution 2026-16, resolution of Town of Spring Lake Board of Commissioners pursuant to NCGS 153A-122, making the Animal Service Ordinance Chapter 3 Animals of the Cumberland County Code applicable within the Town of Spring Lake. Commissioner Thompson?
So moved.
Commissioner Jackson? Oh. If you don't have to second, if you don't. Commissioner Cooper?
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to ordinance 2026-05, and this is just the ordinance that Madam Clerk just alluded to with the previous information. Ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance of the Town of Spring Lake, North Carolina, pursuant to NCGS 153A-122, making Chapter 3 Animals of the Cumberland County Code applicable within the Town of Spring Lake. Commissioner Thompson?
So moved.
Is there a second? Commissioner Cooper?
Second.
Any discussion?
I got one. So, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
So this is basically about the same thing that we just did, right?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever we change an ordinance in our code of ordinances, we have to do it by ordinance. So the resolution was basically adopting this from Cumberland County, the changes, and then we have to change our code of ordinances by ordinance.
Okay.
So that's all, it's, yes, basically the same thing, but two different kind of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
But is it, you said we have to change it.
Mhm.
And when I asked that question earlier, you said it had nothing to do with our ordinance, but it does.
No. So.
You said, but we gotta change our ordinance, so I'm not understanding.
Right. So we're not changing anything that we are changing. It's, we adopted the Cumberland County Animal Services ordinances, I wanna say back in the 2014 time range, somewhere around there. This was a change that they made in 2021 that was supposed to have been adopted by the board, by our board in 2021. It was not. So all I'm doing is taking the amendments that was included in this, and I just sent it to Municode, and they update it in our ordinances, so it reflects the same as Cumberland County, since we're in a local agreement with them. That's all it
The only
is.
way we can get Municode to do it is if we have the ordinance.
Yes.
So this ordinance isn't the same one that Cumberland County has. This is just the ordinance for us to update.
Change ours.
Yes, the resolution was just stating that we were accepting the changes, and then the ordinances I am submitting to Municode, because we have to, when we change any ordinances, whether in our code of ordinances, it has to be done by ordinance.
And if we don't do this, then they don't do animal service here, basically.
That I'm not sure, but there probably would, If we don't do it, then they're probably gonna request us to, pull out of the interlocal agreement, and then the town of Spring Lake would have to fund all of that.
Any other questions? And we can say and ask questions until we get it. Okay? All right. I need a second for the motion.
Did she say?
All in favor, I'm sorry. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
I want to take a point of privilege. I know we are in the middle of business, but I wanted to recognize our former Mayor Pro Tem, former Spring Lake Board of Commissioner, and she was Spring Lake all the way, she was all of it. Ms. Chadwick, would you like to say a few words, please?
Thank you so much and happy birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me to say a few words. Again, my name is Robin Chadwick and I'm former Mayor Pro Tem as well as Commissioner and Educator. I just want to let you guys know that I am running for the Board of Education at large. I'm excited about this endeavor. I'm excited about still supporting my community because we have a lot of work to do, and it's important that we be able to not only help our community, but other communities that are disenfranchised. And it's going to take all of us. And I'm asking for your support on today in the form of a vote. Tell your neighbors, tell your family, tell everyone to vote for Robin Chadwick, Board of Education at large. As you know, Commissioner Jackson and I, and along with Ms. Sutherland, Commissioner Sutherland, and this entire board, we fought really hard to keep Manchester open. And unfortunately, the school ended up closing, but what people don't realize is that Spring Lake Middle is also a shopping block, okay? And in order to save our schools and to recognize that we have a voice in our community, someone has to do the work. And I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and do the work. So I just need you to stand with me, stand for me, and when anybody asks who's running, you say Robin Chadwick. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Jackson?
I also want to point out, we're still researching, but with Ms. Chadwick running, we believe she would be the first Spring Lake resident to be on the school board.
Wow.
So that's a powerful statement.
That's a big deal.
Yes.
That's a big deal. All right, y'all heard it here first. All right, now we'll get back to the meeting. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our agenda item 9J, public records request. Commissioner Jackson.
I wonder, I know we have talked about this one time before, but I want us to go ahead and do something or make some kind, and help me with the language, some kind of, how we're gonna do these public record requests. Who's over them, who's supposed to answer them, in what timely manner, because I know the statute says in a timely manner, but what it defines a timely manner. So I want us to be able to go ahead and put in a plan for it. I know you suggested that, staff do it. So with that being said, will we have recommendations that what we want to go in the language? Do we have a say-so of that, or do we sit down with the staff and let them know all what we need to do, because we need to get a hold of all these public record requests?
So what we can do is go ahead and have them draft more specific language. If you want to put anything specific in it, you can get with either Mr. English or Madam Autry and let them know that these are some specific things we want in there. They'll draft that up and they'll bring it back to the board and we say, we want this, we don't want that, we like this, keep this. And we will pretty much kind of be the editors of it. So we can direct staff to redo the policy. We have, it's in our operating procedure.
Rules of procedure. No, it's not. I know, I think I provided the board a draft policy before, but nothing moved forward with that.
So let's put that, well, we can go ahead and get some specific language if the board wants to put input. Send that to Ms. Autry. Let's go ahead and put this on the next agenda. That way, if we need to talk through it more, or if we can go ahead and vote on it, that way we have the specific layout. So it won't get dragged any further. Let's go ahead and get it drafted and bring it back to the board. Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you. When we do that policy, can we be sure to attach the general statute that discusses public records, so we know that we are following, the statute of the state, that the requirements of the state? Can
We should
attach
make sure
that?
that that's
Yeah.
the foundation of our records request. We're obligated to be governed by the statutes, so absolutely.
I did, basically what Ms. Cooper was stating. But a question is, in a timely manner, Ms. Jackson, that you stated, because if it's a request to go back 3 years, I want to know what the timely manner would be, and I think with this coming back, because a request to go back for 3 years, it's going to take time, and then a question would be, is it just the clerk going to be doing it, or is she going to have some help with that? Because there will be a request.
Madam Clerk?
Sorry.
Yeah, no,
So
no,
I've been working with Trina. If it's anything HR related, anything dealing with emails, cell phone, data, I'm just gonna send it to Trina.
So, and that will all be spelled out in the language of the policy. That's what I'm saying with the specifics. We need this stuff so they'll know what to
If
specifically.
it's something like, permit information, anything like that, no, I'll just send it on over. But if it's anything personnel related, like I said, cell phones, personnel records, I'm just gonna send it over to Trina, and she's gonna take it from there. As long as she keeps me in the loop that she has completed it, she doesn't have to send me anything. I've already reached out to the School of Government about it. They said as long as she keeps you in the loop, it's fine. I said, okay.
And we, again, all that needs to be just spelled out
Right.
in the particular policy. And so, and I do think that the language is kind of vague for that point. If someone's requesting a few years worth of records and it's in the middle of budget season, it's gonna be kind of hard for staff to stop and go search for, bunches and bunches of records. But I also agree that there should be some sort of limitations and spell a reason, so we can actually, clarify what a reasonable amount of time is. And so we can make sure that some sort of language is in there.
Well, the statute just says in a reasonable amount of time.
But but we can go to a more stricter.
Yeah, I think on our public records request form, it does state if it's over 15 documents, then it'll be 30 days. Don't quote me on that, but I know it states it on our public records request form.
Okay, so again, this is language that we should spell out. That way the process is clear, so we know if the records is, they're requesting a certain quantity, then it allow X amount of
Right, and I
time.
do want to just, please keep in mind, I've had this issue before, somebody asking for public records requests, I asked them to fill out a form, they denied filling out the form. I told them, it's town policy, he said that's town policy, but it's not the law. I reached out to the School of Government about that, they said he is absolutely right, he does not have to fill out a form. So just please keep that in mind.
Well, I'm glad you explained it, because I think Ms. Jackson, when we came up with this before, talking about the public records request, and they stated they only wanted you to do the public records request, but since everybody wants some public records, I knew it was gonna be too much on you. But that's what was stated, because they said you the clerk and you the one to do the public record request. So I'm glad that you do have some help, because since everybody wants public record, it's gonna be overwhelming for
Yeah,
this one
I'm
person.
just the keeper of it, but there's no statute that specifies who can and who can do a public records request. As long as Trina or HR keeps me in the loop, we'll be all good.
So
Again,
when I
you guys
researched
gotta use the.
I'm sorry.
You're fine, go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
When I researched it, and especially with us answering public record requests, it didn't say that we couldn't, but it said it wasn't good standing for a commissioner to answer a public record request. So I think we need to put that, because you're saying that that anybody can answer a public record request?
I wouldn't recommend a public official or elected official to respond to a citizen public records request. What I would recommend is for you or whoever to send me the information, and then I'll relay the message to them. That's normally how it goes.
Especially when HR is involved.
Well, with HR's involved, she can send it directly to them, but as long as she just says, hey, I sent them this information on this date, as long as I have it for my documentation, all is well.
Because I want to look at too, when, if a public official answers a public record request that HR has already denied, and then they turn around and answer it again, what law are they breaking when they do that? Because if in the statute it says you can't answer anything personal or you know, personnel, so when a person, if HR denied it, then it must have been something in their personnel, right? You would think.
That would be my
So,
guess.
yeah, we want to clear some of that stuff up.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cooper?
Thank you. I think you're alluding to the fact that I shared a letter that was sent to me and all the other board members before you all got on the board. It is public information because it was sent to my email. Anything sent to my email, my town email, is public information. So
I wasn't,
Is what
I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
wasn't talking about that.
well, I know there was, I know there was some discussion, and it was sent to my email, therefore I can share it with anyone I want to. And yeah, sometimes people speak out of turn, and I truly believe that they spoke out of turn because if it's in my email, Adrian's email, his email, it's public records.
I'm not sure exactly what letter you're talking about, because I know I received, if we're talking about the same thing, I received that letter as well. What I was asking was, because it's a public record request, and even though it was sent to us as a public record request, if we're not supposed to answer it, whether it was sent to us or not, that's what I'm concerned with. Not the fact that it was sent to us, but the fact that we have the authority to answer it. Because it comes to us, because somebody emailed us, it is public record, but is it our responsibility to answer it, or is it the person who's keeping the records responsibility to ask for it? That's what I'm asking.
So that can be something that can also be laid out for discussion when we're creating this policy around public records requests. If we want to discuss who is authorized to respond and who isn't authorized to respond. So if you could add that to what we're going to discuss when we go over the public records request.
Thank you for helping me do that.
No problem.
You own it on your birthday, girl.
Is there any other discussion regarding the public records request? Okay, we will move on. We're almost there, y'all. We're almost there. Yeah. All right, so we're on to our updates. So as you guys may have heard, I was born on this day 25 years ago.
I second that motion.
I second that. So just a few updates. First day of school for our kids. So make sure that we are obeying the speed limit in these school zones. Please drive carefully. And if you could stop by W.T. Brown, I wish I could have made it in and clap them in this morning, but I couldn't. I do plan on stopping by, and I would love to get our board to go. If we can go together as a whole group, I would love, and we'll do a public meeting notice. But I would love for us to just go over there and show our kids that the town of Spring Lake truly supports them, and we're there for them during this transition. So if we can try to organize that, I'll have Carly send us out a quick email so we can try and get over there and do that for them. NCDOT has some signs posted for milling and resurfacing. Y'all cannot understand how grateful I was when I pulled out on that bumpy road coming out of my neighborhood. So Bragg Boulevard, Main Street, please expect some serious delays, okay? So just make sure to slow down and stay alert, and if there's not very many alternative routes, but if you want to get creative, find one to help alleviate a little bit of that traffic on Bragg Boulevard. So next Friday is our first Friday on Main. Commissioner Jackson has outdone herself in putting this one together. She has enlisted a lot of people. I cannot wait, because if you missed first Friday, in September, you're gonna miss a lot. We have got the Panhellenic Council that is bringing a ton of things. We're gonna have some open mics, so if you can sing or dance or you got some hidden talent, come on out and get on the stage and share it with us. Commissioner Cooper's gonna sing us some songs. I hear Mayor Pro Tem's gonna do she's got some dance moves that she's gonna put together for us. We're gonna do a 1-2 step. So come out, have fun. We're gonna put Mr. English up there too. He's a hidden rapper. So First Friday is going to be a lot of fun. And again, congratulations to this town and thank you to our staff for this audit. This is a long time coming. I am so grateful that I can say we finally got one of the audits done. And it won't be long before we get the rest of them finished. And town offices will be closed Monday, September 7th for Labor Day. So please adjust accordingly because we won't be here. And that is all I have. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Great meeting, commissioners. Great meeting. Town manager. Can appreciate it. Also, I am so happy about our audit when I'm being completed. And I know that we're gonna continue to work hard to get them completed. I know we're gonna continue to work together in this town to continue to move this town forward. And that is a vision that we have. So I wanna thank you. And I know some of you was here during the public comments. I'm not gonna go into details, but I don't have to prove myself to anybody. My character speaks for itself. My religion speaks for itself. God fights my battles. I've been doing this for a mighty long time, 16 years prior, and God brought me back for 4 more years. I would never kidnap nobody, block them in, or anything of that nature. That's just not me. So I will not continue to entertain anybody in the public to make a threat. It is on public record that they're gonna have to continue, I'm gonna have to continue to deal with them. I feel like that's harassment. I'm not fooling with anybody, I'm not dealing with anybody. I live in an area where we plant flowers and try to beautify the area. Different people go up and cut it. And I don't know how, I'm not gonna debate how long I've been the community watch. No, we do not charge dues. We don't have a HOA. We just are older community trying to live peacefully. We thank our law enforcement for coming out. Officer Lyles came out and did a professional job when he came out to assist to make sure that we don't have any situations. We never have any situations with our neighbors. I want to continue to be neighborly, but my character speaks for itself. So I won't, and when they go low, I'm going to continue to go high. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Commissioner Thompson.
I would just like to say last Friday I had a chance to, along with Beth Williams Zion Church, they had the National Senior Citizens Day, and the mayor attended. We had a ball over there. And they really appreciated that because they're the backbone of our community and we have to show our respect and honor them. And also on Saturday I passed out book bags for the back to school giveaway with Beth Williams Zion Church. And speaking of which, what the mayor said today, our children went back to school, so I want to wish them a successful and a safe school year. And also, like she said, be mindful of their safety and mind your feet out there. And also, last thing, no town cleanup for September because it falls on the holiday, and we will resume cleanup on the 3rd of October. That's all I have now.
Let's switch up a little bit, Commissioner Burgess. Sorry.
That's fine. I'd like to thank everybody that came out. It's been a long night.
It has.
We thank Dennis for all the hard work he's been doing. The board for backing him. Chief, Mr. Overton, for your good work. The A team, John. You work hard for the town. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
And Jason walked in at the perfect time. Commissioner Cooper.
I have, so there's going to be a D9, Big Spring Lake D9 call to action and civic engagement on September 2nd at 6:30 p.m. at Bethel and Zion Church. 255 Bass Road, and this is going to involve the Greater Fayetteville Area National Panhandling Council. So we'd like for you all to come out to that as well. Again, September 2nd at Bethel AME Zion Church at 6:30 p.m.
And Commissioner Jackson has a surprise for us.
It's First Friday. I want to take the time to tell y'all the amazing special event team that I have.
Yes.
Chief of Police, Chief of Fire. We've got Holly that's working with the vendors. We have the planning team, Lynn and Cassie on there. And we also have Pastor Ken and his assistant with the music and sound. So I said, Lynn, we need some money. So Lynn said, okay, let's get some money. So with the money that our beautiful Lynn planning got, I need Chief and Mr. John to come up here for a minute, please, if I can get you.
Which Chief?
Police.
No.
Chief Jarman, can we get our chiefs? Come on up here, chiefs.
Oh.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, that's
Come on, Jason. Come on now. Come on, you standing up. I asked for John, but since you standing up, and you the chief, we'll let you hold the side. Come on down, sir.
Oh, I love it.
So these are our First Friday banners. We have two. This one right here will go at the little, what you call it?
Littleton Highway.
Yes. And then the other one, this is double-sided, so let the board see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see the other side. Alright, so, and then we have one that will go right where the bridge is. When you go around there, and these are our signs, we will have 20 foot up, and they are made to go for August, September, October, November. So we don't have to spend the money no more. It's a good deal. First Friday is in the house. We have performers coming. We actually have 2 gospel groups. And y'all gonna have to help me because I'm just gospel down some. But 2 gospel groups and a gospel rapper. And I just got a text that we may have some praise dancer and a step team. We have also Kenneth, Pastor Kenneth, he's gonna have his jamming session out there doing things. The mayor don't know me and her, we're gonna get cheerleading uniforms and we're gonna cheer. She thought she beat me last time, so you know I'm getting ready. I'm taking a lot of off around the field and all that good stuff to make that body work. But I am excited about First Friday, so please come out. We're probably up to 35 to 40 vendors. Yes.
Oh, y'all can't see the smile on my face. It's hurting. It's so big. This makes me so very happy. So, First Friday, y'all, make sure you're there. You're going to miss it. All right, Mr. English.
How do I go after that?
You can't. You can't beat that. That's it.
I'll be brief. Just to add to a little bit of the Main Street excitement. We had a meeting, the mayor and I, with the folks at the North Carolina League, the municipalities. They will be helping us write through some funding that we have, the Rural Transformation Grant for Main Street and downtown investment revitalization efforts. So I'm excited about that. The mayor and I will be meeting on a weekly basis like we did the Department of Defense grant. So this will give us some funding for developing Main Street going forward. So I'm looking forward to that. I know that's something you all have really been wanting. This is not our first rodeo, so we have documentation, some funding, some estimates. So it's not like I'm reinventing the wheel. There is some institutional investment knowledge around this, so we should be getting that. Looking forward to it. And Commissioner Thompson, I owe you a phone call. I will be reaching out to you tomorrow for the funding that we have left for our Veterans Park. I'm disappointed that coming into work last week, I noticed some trash in our Veterans Park. And I noticed also we do not have a trash can. in our Veterans Park. So I will make it my effort tomorrow to go ahead and purchase 2 trash cans.
Can we get the decorative ones?
What's that?
Decorative.
Yes, I'm looking to get, we need about 2 trash cans. And so in addition to our meeting, Commissioner, we can also talk about some additional monumental things that we have with that 14,000 FR grant. So that's how I want to close my report. Thank you all.
Awesome, thank you so much. All right, we'll now entertain a motion. I would be remiss if I did not highlight this absolutely amazing flyer I saw today with 2 of the best chiefs in the country on it. We have the town of Spring Lake Coffee with the Chiefs. With give them a round of applause. We love our chiefs. And they're opening themselves up to the community. Opening themselves up to the community to sit and have candid conversations with them. So please go and have some coffee and some good conversation. It is on Wednesday, September 16th. From 8:30 to 10:30, that's 2 whole hours to talk to our chiefs. And it'll be held right here at our Spring Lake Boardroom. So that is, again, September 16th, 8:30 to 10:30 a.m. right here. So thank you for putting this on. We really appreciate it. And now I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session. Pursuant to NCGS 143-318-1183, attorney-client privilege. And our attorney is out sick, so he'll be available via phone in the back. NCGS 143-318-11A4, economic development, and NCGS 143-318-11A6, personnel. Commissioner Thompson? So moved. Commissioner Cooper?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. We are now in closed session. Thank you all for coming out. Mr. Patton, we'll meet right through here.
He's probably around here somewhere, you don't live with Chief Williams now.
Woo.
You don't never live, he probably somewhere around here.
All right, I'll now entertain a motion to come out of closed session. Action was taken. Commissioner Cooper?
So moved.
Commissioner Jackson?
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
I make a motion to set the bid price at the full amount owed estimated at $3.2 million plus fees and costs for the Spring Lake property acquisition.
Commissioner Burgess?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Meeting adjourned. Y'all worked so hard. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for coming out. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.